All right, guys, this is episode 5 of the podcast. Today I'm joined with Colten and Eddie, and we're just going to run through some questions and see what's up. So, Colten, you go first. You want to do yourself?
Yeah, what's up, guys? I feel like a lot of people that are watching your stuff probably know who I am.
Yeah.
Probably same area, tight niche. But yeah, my name's Colten. No, I mean, dude, I've known Ryan. I've known you how long
Probably
now?
a long time, like probably 6-7 years. Probably
6, 7 years, probably. Yeah. Yeah, been bodybuilding since 14, 15 years old, and started coaching around 18, 19, and that's kind of where everything started.
Eddie, you want to hop in?
I was at the ripe age of 20.
The ripe age.
So what's up, guys? I was Eddie, also competitive bodybuilder, coach, trainer. Just moved out to Arizona, owned a gym in Brooklyn for about 7 years. And now we're just coaching, working from home, enjoying lifestyle. And we have a show coming up this year, so it's something to look forward to.
Hey, you guys are competing?
Yeah, I'm just going to drop
that
in there. But I mean, I'm excited to do this now because Ryan, this is obviously our first time meeting, like formally like that. So yeah, I'm excited.
Is the show in?
Is this the first
show in your? What did you say? Colorado, right?
Me and Ryan never met. No, we're competing in Texas.
Oh, you guys are in Texas. Okay, what show is it?
Well, no, we're living in Arizona, but we're gonna compete in Texas. We're gonna do the summer shredding shows. Well, we're gonna start with that.
That's sick.
I mean, bro, let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. In 2023, they paid all the division winners like 10 grand.
Damn, that's pretty for local checks. Did they get like
last year
or no? Like Alpha League or no?
I mean, whatever, bro. Whatever, you know.
Sponsored.
Yeah.
Listen, bro, sponsorship, whatever. But nah, the way I look at it is like, I mean, dude, that's more money than IFBB pros will get for placing like third in a lot of shows. You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, I've been competing for like a decade now. What is it? You get a little trophy, pat on the back, they send you on your way, you know? If you didn't get fucked over with some political shit, you know? You know how...
I got a goodie bag from
I got a shirt.
You know?
Well, they stopped doing that shit, bro. It's like less
They'll give you
a
protein bar. I mean, bro, Easterns, we got cookies. They throw in the bonus one.
It's like, no, I'm going out to dinner. I'm getting a real meal.
Oh, no, bro,
I don't want this fucking shit. I'm going to get real food, not these protein bars.
Nah, bro, they had a cookie dealer at Easterns in 2021. So, dude, it was like a very serious thing. Everyone was like, yo, you can only have one. And then, but I won the award, so they gave me a second one. They were like,
dude,
yo, dude slipped him a second one. He's like, yo, here, don't tell nobody. God forbid.
That's crazy. So thank you. Whoa, breaking the rules for me. Dude, that's another question I wanted to ask you guys. So Colten, because I know, like, obviously Colten's from where I live. Then he moved to, I remember when you moved to New York with Eddie. And how did you guys move from New York to out there? Like, how'd that even come up?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, dude, so, I mean, first off, as you know, with, like, just the way the world is, the country, New York's a mess, bro. So, you know what it is, dude? It kind of became a thing of, you know, you're running a business, especially brick and mortar, and, you know, you can make all this money, do all these things, but you're not keeping any of it.
I'll tell you like this. Like, I opened, so the gym that me and Colt ran was the second location. The first one I did on my own when I was, I did the first one I was 19. So how I came into doing that, I'm not going to get into detail on this podcast, but long story short, the location sucked. It was very ghetto. It didn't do well. So what happened was I had to go get like a literal 9 to 5 to pay the rent in this shitty. It was, I had to work in tech sales, dude. It like, I'm not going to say it sucked. The experience was great because it helped me later in life. It helped me with sales. I met a lot of great people, but yeah, dude, I was like fucking just working this 9 to 5 with the thought in mind of like, I'm going to pay the rent for this gym and it's going to somehow work.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, some events transpired. Long story short, I had an issue with the landlords, and they had kind of one of two options to either like help me get a new space or they had to pay me out of the lease because I signed a 3-year contract. So they got me a bigger space, and that's the one that Colt and I ran. and that spot took off. Like when I tell you, before I even had mirrors on the wall, I had a full like packed out schedule of clients. It was sick, but yeah, dude. But at the end of the day, no matter how much money you make there, I mean, first of all, there's a huge ceiling. So there's one of me, two of us. We can only see so many people in a day,
exactly.
and that's not owning a business to me. Like, yeah, you own the business, you
Yeah,
run, but if you're
but
constantly,
it's you. Yeah, it's tied to you.
I mean, dude, time is not your own; it belongs to your clients,
Yeah,
right? So it's like that's
Absolutely.
not really a business, right? Like,
yeah,
at least in my perspective. So, because that's no different than
And I mean, dude, to add to that, I mean, like how do you continue to
yeah,
grow? Like you
exactly.
need
Yeah,
to create more hours, create more clients, which means you need to hire employees. And at the end of the
we
day,
also
dude, you
build
can't
an
replicate
fucking
yourself
nightmare.
either.
yeah, exactly. Like you are the business, so it's like you.
Yeah,
And even then, it's like if you scale it, ain't like it's not like you own like a protein company where you scale it, then you sell it to somebody else. Like that, you can't scale and sell to anybody because it's
Well,
just you.
the scaling thing, right? Which is this is the whole issue with New York, right?
Yeah,
So we had a great deal on the place that we were renting. So if we were to scale up and expand, like let's say we just got a bigger location
hmm
in New York, that comes with an astronomically higher rent.
yeah,
You have more clients, you can hire more employees, you technically gross make more money.
yeah,
Your actual net profits will probably stay fucking the same, if not potentially less than the smaller location. So, and then
yeah,
assume you
yep.
are making more money, you're paying more taxes.
yeah, exactly.
So it's like you can't really fucking win,
Yeah.
you know?
There's
So
really not even an
Yeah,
incentive to grow because it's like, what's the point of growing if you're just doing more work and not really getting any more money? So it's like you're just
hamster
adding
wheel.
more of a workload and doing
exactly.
nothing.
Exactly. It's a hamster wheel. So,
Yeah,
I mean, we look,
and
no, go ahead.
the yeah, the thing that we ran into as well was like I said, like hiring employees to continue to grow the business. You can't replicate
Yeah.
yourself. You can train somebody, you can do whatever, but you can't replicate yourself. They don't care about the business as much
Yeah.
as you do. So it became a thing of, the clients that weren't working with us obviously weren't experiencing the same thing that the people that were working with
Yeah.
us were. So, I mean, dude, every trainer that we ever had, we ended up firing at a certain point,
Yeah.
you know? So it's hard to uphold the right
I mean,
standards too,
with
especially in New York, in
coaches, I
Brooklyn.
mean, dude, like Ryan, like you would imagine, like you've been around gyms
Yeah.
for a long time, you know how it is. Like a lot of trainers have a lot of egos.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, I'll say like myself included,
Oh
obviously,
yeah.
because you kind of have to have an ego to some extent. But when you're the owner of a facility and like the whole thing was built on your methods and
Yeah.
you know how to service your clients to where they're happy and they're coming back, and then you get a new trainer and then they think they know what they're doing, and you try to offer advice and try to coach them on kind of like how to be
Yeah.
better, and they don't digest that and use it because they feel like, oh, I already know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But my logic is, well, if you really knew what you were doing, wouldn't you have your own gym?
Yeah. I was like, yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yep.
was kind of a headache hiring in that sense. And like Colt said, like no one's gonna give a fuck about your business like you.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's such a big thing, like in life in general. Like being coachable is such like a good trait, just in general. Like that's just you takes you so far. Like being coachable and just like actually being able to take criticism and use it is like such a huge thing that applies to literally everything in life.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hundred
I mean,
percent.
I feel like that's so hard. I don't know what is like. You would assume like people want to get better. So it's like if you came to me and were like, hey, like you're successful, like you own your own gym and like you are like you own and you've done it, you set the blueprint, and it's like and you're telling me, hey, this is what works. Like you would think you'd be like, dude, thank you for like sharing that knowledge. Like damn, like I feel like that's like what people like people pay for mentors. So it's crazy to think like you were trying to mentor somebody and they're like, nah, fuck it, I know my way. It's like so crazy.
It's interesting to see that because it's a thing of like, I think a lot of people like the idea of having a mentor and like the
Yeah,
idea of someone telling them how to do what they want to achieve.
yeah,
But when it comes to actually implementing a lot of that stuff, like people, I mean, you hear it all the time, and like it's fucking cheesy to say at this point, but nobody wants to be disciplined about
yeah.
anything. Nobody
No,
wants to get uncomfortable about
no,
anything,
it's literally
what they're doing. So yeah, I mean, being coachable comes down to, and like honestly, I've seen this across the board with clients too. The people that are the most successful in their career, in their life, and whatever, are also the most coachable. Like it's the craziest fucking thing. Because you just give them like this blueprint and they want to get better. Like you don't have to hold their hand. You give them things that they got to do, how they got to report back to you, and they do every single thing. But the people that are like, they kind of like you don't even know how they're paying for your service type of thing.
Yeah.
They're the ones that never get results, and you end up having to drop them as a client because it's a bad. So yeah, man. I mean, it's interesting. People don't want to listen, even if it's like you've done what they're trying to do.
It is crazy to see. Like people say they want to be coachable, but they don't. That's the same thing too. Like people like say like they have goals, but it's like no one actually like it's the follow through. It's like it's so easy to say like, oh, I want to be this or I want to be a millionaire, but it's like okay, but to do that you need to do X, Y, Z. It's like well, I'm not want to do any of that stuff, but I like to tell myself I want to be a millionaire because that sounds sick. But it's like okay, I do too, but it's like it's a lot of work to do that. So it's like the same thing with coaching.
Well, I mean, dude, that kind of stems from the fact that like, and I mean that could be related to wanting to be a millionaire, wanting to be like an IFBB pro, a bodybuilder, whatever. People are like, they're not doing these things for themselves, right? So it's like most people, if they're saying they want to be a millionaire, they don't really want to be a millionaire. They want to be the guy that is able to post the things that a millionaire can post and have the things a millionaire can have. The same way that like a lot of these kids you see in the gym, recording with the tripods that don't even weigh 200 pounds yet, they want to be like the next influencer kid. They want to be the next Sam Sulek, but they don't actually love training. They don't actually love the work, right? So it's the same idea with the whole millionaire thing. They don't love the idea of what you have to do to be a millionaire, but they want to have that outcome. And it's for other people. Like if it was for yourself, you'd have no problem doing the work.
That's what's so funny. I listened to a podcast yesterday, and it's like I've been thinking about it 24 hours. Obviously, you guys should know who Mr. Beast is. He was on a podcast, The Diary of a CEO.
I know what you're talking about.
It was crazy because like, he was talking about it, and he was like talking about like his life, and he's like, "I promise you guys, like, no one wants to be like, no, you don't want to live my life, like to be the top performer on YouTube. Like, it's cool to say like, damn, I want to be the biggest YouTuber." He said, but like, I don't sleep. Like, my mental health. Like he said, if I took my mental health first, I wouldn't be where I'm at. He said, like, it's literally like you wouldn't want to do this. Like, it's literally I've been on 200 days of the year. I was flying in country to country like for content. He's like, see. It's not like, but it's so cool to be like, oh, I want to be the biggest YouTuber. It's like, yeah, that's cool, but it's like, I have people relying on me. Like, this is like, it's not like it's like a fun thing. Like, this is like my whole life. And the same thing, he's like, you couldn't do this if you didn't love it. Like, you can't work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, on planes, never sleep in your house, in different time zones every day, don't see your wife if you didn't love it. So it's like, that's why it's so hard, but it's just so cool to say like, oh, I'm going to be the biggest YouTuber. It's like, okay, like, yeah, but it's like, do you really want to make the sacrifices? It's like, I wouldn't want to do that.
This is why it's the 1%, bro. This is why it's the 1%. Because the people that actually are willing to do that work, the people that actually love that work, there's something wrong with us. There's something like you gotta have something wrong with you, bro.
Like Mr. Beast was talking about the mental health thing. Like I watched it. He was like, like most people, they make a couple $1 million and they can kind of like just hang out.
Yeah.
But I would argue that if he were to do that, his mental health would suffer more than it does. Because that's how he's wired. I mean, even for myself, like I'm not no fucking Mr. Beast, not even close, obviously. But when we moved to Arizona, dude, like going from working 10 to 12-hour days in the gym and just always having to handle some shit, and now we're just on a laptop and we're like at home and don't really have to go anywhere. Like
it's crazy,
me up. Like real bad. Like that's like
it's like a big even that like it's like your sense of like purpose and like it's so funny like to think like just like little shit like going to the grocery store like them little like fucking daily little things like that gets you a sense of accomplishment. It's like so funny people don't realize that like them little things add up. Like you take that for granted, like going grocery shopping, cooking your food, or getting this done, getting that done, like that little like hitting them daily gratifications. Like okay, I got this done, got this done, got this done. And it's like if you start removing some of that shit, it's like that's just funny because like you never really know how you would react. Like, oh, I want to be a millionaire, but it's like, what does it even mean? What does it even mean for you? It's like, what does life look like to you? It's like you might think I'm million and
how
nothing.
many fucking blunt rotations are going on right now on a Friday night where the fucking the kids hitting the blunt? Like I'm gonna do this and that and become a millionaire. Like it happens every fucking day, but nobody does it. Everybody has multi-million-dollar ideas every day.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I'll tell you like this. It's one of those things like I said, you got to be that
Yeah,
1% type of person that's crazy enough to actually like
yeah,
what it takes. For example, like, in a case similar to ours, let's say hypothetically you have a gym that's profiting, let's say
yeah,
$20,000 a month, around a ballpark like that. The work that requires is essentially, 12 to 16-hour days, 7 days a week on your feet with people. But then you can come into this online business, help a lot more people because it doesn't require your physical
yeah,
time, right? So let's say you have $100,000 a month. If you're that type of person that's obsessed with like that work that goes into things, it's gonna be fucked up mentally because it's almost like that 20,000 was
yeah,
more
exactly.
fulfilling,
Yeah,
Yeah,
right? It's an interesting concept, but not everyone
yeah,
will understand that. Most people, obviously to most people, those types of numbers don't
yeah,
exist anyway. But most people, if they were able to do, 60,000 over 20,000, somewhere in that ballpark, they're never gonna even want to look back on what they were doing
oh,
for
yeah,
the 20,000 because they're gonna be fulfilled just off the amount of money,
exactly. I would say, is that what you
But
guys feel like? You guys feel like your purpose and like that's what you guys get fulfillment out of it is like helping people. Like, is that like what you like? Is that why you guys gravitated toward coaching so much? Like, you
absolutely.
like
yeah.
that part of it?
I was actually gonna say, like, in comparison to, because I trained people in person for over 7 years.
Yeah,
So like I did it for a very long time.
mhm,
So to me, I get more satisfaction out of the online coaching versus the in person. And
mhm.
I'll tell you why. Because with the online coaching, so we use an app to coach people. Like we're not like sending out like PDFs and shit. Like
Yeah.
they're
You're not on what's that?
oh no WhatsApp, no
Nah,
Excel
that's crazy.
spreadsheets, no none of that shit. So like
That's just a low
Yeah.
quality service, bro.
yeah, that's like some
It
lazy
does. I
bull.
mean, I know exactly what you're talking about because I know what it feels like. Like when you receive like the updates from a coach, it's all professional. It's like, damn, it's just like I don't mind paying the money because it's like I feel like this dude put some effort in, not like, all right, bro, up the chicken 20 grams. And it's like, damn, all right. It's like,
Yeah, and then you have
Yeah,
to
dude.
adjust that in your
yeah. Then you got to go in. It's like go in your notes
mind.
app, write
Well,
it down.
No, that shit. So
I'll tell you like this, not to jump too off topic, but even in the sense of, like if what we're
Yeah,
passionate about is helping people, like I'll tell you in my case, because I've
yeah,
been bodybuilding since like a
really,
young kid, right? So I've got like after being able to, have that opportunity to move to New York and work with, I mean, you know how New
yeah,
York is, dude. It's people from all different cultures, all different walks of life. So having that opportunity to work one on one with all different types of people, and I'm talking people from different cultures, different careers, CEOs, business owners, medical professionals, that kind of opened my eyes to the fact that like I get way more fulfillment out of one, prepping myself for a show and getting on stage. I get way more fulfillment out of helping people that essentially thought they would never be able
yeah,
to get in shape ever in their life, achieve something that they were just never able to do. And not only do I get more fulfillment in that comparison, also we don't even really coach
yeah,
competitors too much because I also get way more fulfillment out of helping, let's say, Greg
mhm,
from the office that, makes $150,000 a year. He's got his whole life figured out. Everything's on
that's the
point.
whole
He's a serious
yeah.
dude. Yeah, but the only thing in his life that he was never able to figure out was getting in shape. And that was something that probably kept him up at night, sacrificed relationships because he
huge, yeah,
just wasn't confident in himself. And he figures that one thing out. We help that person do that. And it's like the fulfillment because you just
mhm,
changed this person's life
yeah,
rather than you took someone who's already in
yeah,
shape and just got them in
yeah,
better shape to do a
Well, and
competition,
this is
right?
the thing for me, right? Like coaching, like not like coaching competitors is kind of a thankless fucking job, dude.
oh yeah, oh my god, yeah.
The way like
Usually, like you're usually in the wrong because like you like the peak goes a little bit weird. It's like fuck my coach, he fucked
dude,
me up.
I've had somebody freak out on me
Yeah,
after they won the show I
yeah,
prepped for, but I left. I wasn't there for finals because I was fucking in prep myself.
yeah,
Like I've had that, but talking about a guy like just a dude that's just a regular person. I
mhm,
mean, that's definitely the preference because those people are just more
yeah,
sane to work with. I mean, you know how this industry
yeah,
is. But in comparison to training people in person versus online, the thing is about in person, dude, it's like we've absolutely had extremely dedicated clients I would
yeah,
listen that did really, really well and got sick results. Like everybody for the most part got results, but you could create results from just training in certain
yeah.
scenarios. especially when it's like an untrained individual.
Yeah.
Like you can just create something from that. But the difference was that like nutritionally or habits wise, they wouldn't really
Yeah.
change anything because
Yeah.
they felt like because they were coming in for this
Yeah.
session,
That's enough. Yeah.
check the box, it's all good, go have some fucking cookies, you
Yeah.
know. And then yeah, like they either tell you or not tell you about it, and you'd be like, I shouldn't do that. But like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do? Call them a fat piece of shit and like,
Yeah. Exactly.
no, because that's probably not gonna change anything.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but the difference with the online clients that we've been working with is like there's no hand holding. Like they have to
Yeah.
do everything on their own.
Yeah.
Like, we're there as a resource. Like I enjoy using the knowledge that I have to
Mhm.
genuinely teach people and help people do it on their own. So whether a person stays with us long term, because we've got people that we've been coaching online since we've had the gym, so for like a couple of years. And then we have the people that will do their, you know, their full program and then they'll go off on their own. But what gives me satisfaction, regardless of either scenario, is the fact that even the person that goes off on their own, I was able to give them actual value and they
Yeah.
walked away from my service with knowledge of how to actually do things and stay healthy and stay in shape. And if they fall off because of motivation or
Yeah.
life, whatever the case, they can always come back or they can
Right.
figure it out. But at least I gave them that. When it's in person, you only have 3, 4, whatever, 5 hours a week with this person versus online whenever something comes up and they have a question. And our best clients do this. Like they ask questions about everything. That's what we encourage.
Mhm.
Because I mean, to me, I'd rather somebody ask a question, even if it seems like a simple, like dumb question,
Mhm.
I explain it versus they do like they interpret it themselves and fuck it up.
Oh yeah. I'm the king of that. I mean, in my
Exactly.
own career, like I was like some stuff just like I ask dumb questions. Some stuff just to clarify because like sometimes it just doesn't compute, and it's like it's so funny to think like how like it's like I would feel like it's like I feel like what like us like we've been in it for a while. We know how to cook. We know how to prep, and it's so funny like it just seems so second nature. So then it's like there really is no dumb question because it's like when I remember when I first started training
Yeah.
and some of that, my coach was like eat 36 grams of peanut butter. I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to figure out what I'm like putting it on the scale, the spoon on the scale with like paper? And he's like, no, you
Yeah.
literally just put it on there, tar it, take it out, and it'll tell you negative 36. I'm like, I spent hours trying to figure out how to weigh peanut butter, and it's like,
Dude, I
but like
only found out about that like 2 years ago. Matter of
yeah,
fact.
it's saying like there's so many things like that where it's like it's just so funny to think like oh like we're like just like opening people's eyes and shit like that where it's like oh like they tell them like oh you need to have chicken. It's like okay well like you don't like chicken we can easily change that out and it's like you don't have to be just chicken. It can be it's just protein is what we're looking at. So if you want to change it out for this we can make that
Yeah.
work for you. And it's like the people like learn that kind of shit where they think like dieting is so hard. It's like no it can change so easy. Like if you don't like chicken no problem we'll take it out adjust the macros make it turkey.
Exactly.
You don't like avocados no problem we'll put almonds in. Okay you like avocado we'll put it in 3 times. It's so funny to think like people like
Yeah.
until you know that stuff, it seems like so crazy, and it's like it seems like you're asking dumb questions, but then what? It's like it's really not because it's like everyone's
Well, dude, what I'll tell people is 9 times out of 10, the dumbest questions are the
yeah,
most
literally,
important questions. Because it might seem like a dumb question, but if you don't ask it and you do it, you're doing
yeah,
it wrong consistently. That's what's going to
literally.
hold you
And people,
back,
you hear
you
like the
know,
crazy stories.
rather than just asking and
Yeah,
solving it. And yeah, but that all kind of ties back into like the original question that you asked, how we ended
yeah,
up in Arizona. So, I mean, like New York being a mess is that was its own thing. That was one of the main drivers to get out of there because it's just like a never ending, just
yeah,
uphill battle, you know? Especially running a business so young, brick and mortar. So outside of that, for a while we were wanting to convert over to online coaching for the simple fact that we wanted to be able
yeah,
to scale the business. We wanted to be able to continue to push it higher and higher and higher. And with online, it's you get rid of that
yeah,
physical location, you get rid of that ceiling. Now we have the time where we can help 500 people rather than 50, you know? So it makes sense in the sense of what we love to do, which is helping people. And it also makes sense with what we love to do, which is growing the business.
Yeah.
So as far as picking Arizona, it was really kind of a thing of like where can we go that's nice, like it's warm, we don't have to deal with winter anymore. Where like the laws make sense, where
yeah,
we can, for the money that we're paying in rent, live nice, comfortable, keep our money. Because, dude, like in New York, you're
it's crazy.
like outside of all the craziness with all the, you know, all
Yeah,
the political stuff that's going on. I don't
yeah,
even want to touch into any of it. but it's also a thing of just the cost
Oh,
of living for the actual
yeah,
quality of life, right? So, bro, there's nothing wrong with
yeah,
expensive. Expensive is awesome if you can
yeah,
afford it, if it makes sense. But when everything's expensive and you're paying ridiculous thousands on thousands of dollars a month in rent to live in a closet
yeah,
in the hood, it
yeah,
becomes a thing of like, all right, well, why am I spending my money to get nothing
exactly.
out of it, right? When you can go somewhere like where we came, essentially spend the exact same amount of money but live a complete
Yeah,
180, like just
Yeah, dude, like
from
literally
to
the
luxury
apartment that
essentially.
we live in now, it's a 2 bed, 2 bath, literally more than double the size of the apartment that we had in New York, and it's the same fucking price.
that's
Like,
crazy.
Colt right now, like
Yeah,
he's in the apartment. Like I came to the fucking business center in this
Yeah,
community. Like to me, bro, I grew up in the hood. To me, like to have a business center where I live is
yeah.
nuts.
I was
Like
saying, did you grow up in Brooklyn? Is that where you're from?
I grew up in Coney Island. Yeah,
Okay, Cornelia.
so I'm like, have you ever heard of Coney Island?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, I forget what show I was watching. It was in the show. I think The
Nathan.
Sopranos.
Yeah.
The
So
Sopranos.
I mean,
there you
bro,
go.
like Coney is it's definitely an interesting place because it's like it's the hood, but then you have an amusement park and
That's
it's
so
like a
crazy.
landmark. It's a weird place,
So
dude.
crazy. It's just like a
And then
music
the
park. Now.
thing about it is like, dude, it's like because it's a peninsula, so it's the
Yeah,
hood over a stretch, and then when you get to the end, it's a fucking gated community.
that's crazy.
It's the wildest place ever. So it's like to me, growing up and like I grew up in public housing, like
Yeah,
project buildings. So to me, living in a place like this now, paying what I thought was like a normal, decent price for an
yeah,
apartment out here
yeah,
into
yeah. If you're from New York, so it's like that. They're like $4 for apartment. Like, that's average. So then you come out there, you're getting this crazy ass apartment for $4 grand. Like, what the hell?
bro, 4 grand doesn't get you shit over there. I mean,
Yeah,
dude, you're not even getting a studio for two in New York. Like it's at a point, like it's at that
crazy.
point, and so it's like, what?
I mean, as a matter of fact, not to cut you off, but dude, when I first moved to New York, which was like 2021, it was like the end of 2020, I don't even remember. But and it only got worse in these past couple years. But even back then, dude, like I went out there, I was young, bro. Like I only had a certain amount of money saved up, bro. I originally was renting a room in somebody's apartment, and that shit was like $900 a month.
Yeah,
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like that now, bro. You rent a room, it's going to be over
yeah,
1,000, even the way it changed the past few years. But then it's like, bro, you're spending all that money, but where are
yeah,
you living? Like it's not
yeah.
even nice. It's
yeah.
the complete
Yeah,
opposite.
Dude,
if
right
it was
now,
justified, it's like, oh, it's a nice ass
So
neighborhood. Oh, fuck it, I'll pay the, I'll drop the money, but it's nice, whatever. But it ain't even nice. It's like, what the hell am I spending all this money for?
bro, like right now, like, I could go for a
exactly.
walk outside, like nighttime. I could go
Yeah,
out 2 in the morning. I don't have to. I could put both headphones on, dude. Like
yeah,
I don't have to worry about anyone running up trying to rob me,
yeah.
trying to do something. Like
The
it's
peace of
just a
mind of that alone is
different
worth the money.
quality of life, man.
Where do you guys live exactly? Where do you live exactly? In Scottsdale, you said?
Yeah, Scottsdale. Yeah.
Scottsdale, yeah.
So
That's
really
nice.
nice out here.
I mean, dude, even in my 3 or 4 years, whatever it was that I was in Brooklyn, we could make a whole entire podcast episode of just stories that I could
Yeah,
tell you of of
Bro,
just shit that I had to deal with.
nothing wrong. We got to make a trip
It's
out here, bro.
oh, I would love to. Yeah,
There's
yeah,
some
there's
really
so
good
many gyms
gyms.
out there
yeah,
too.
for
I know there's
sure.
so many
Go
gyms out
some
there.
workouts, have
Yeah,
some fun. But
don't they always film like them TikTok like where they ask people like on the street? Isn't that in Scottsdale? Like I always see the one dude. He's always asking girls
Old
like on the
Town.
street questions. I feel like it's in Scottsdale.
Let me ask you, is it a
Yeah, yeah,
black dude that you're
yeah.
talking about? That's our boy
Okay,
Dante,
yeah.
bro.
oh,
He
yeah,
he
yeah.
I
he
always see on TikTok.
he
He's
he
always like,
trains,
I'm
bro.
like, how are there so many people? Wow. Like,
Yo, that's so funny. I'm gonna
yeah,
have to shout him out on this. Now he trains at the same gym as us, but bro,
Bro,
he does that shit. But he's a G. He does like OnlyFans. He's sponsored
oh
by
really?
he
Hoodville,
knows it
bro.
all.
Yeah,
I
mad
see. I'm like,
fun.
what? I'm like, how's this?
That's
But
what
I'm
you
always
get.
like, how is there so many people out? Like, that's crazy. There's that many motherfuckers out there just walking. The street.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you like this, like Arizona, like we don't really go out, we don't do shit like that. Like we came out here to put our head
Yeah,
downs and work, but still like
yeah,
Yeah,
enjoy our
bro, to
lives,
go
you
out, like,
know.
I'm gonna tell you like
But
this, not to cut you off. There's nothing like going out here that's gonna top New York. Like in terms
yeah.
of like restaurants or
Oh
whatever.
yeah,
I
well,
don't give
no, no.
a shit.
So as far as restaurants and shit, like nothing's beating New York. Like food wise, nothing
No
beats New
shot.
York. That's just that's
yeah,
that's its own thing. But out here, if you're into like nightlife
yeah,
and that type of shit, it gets crazy, bro. Like you're even saying, like those videos in Old Town, it'll be a day during the week in the summertime when it's nice and just
It's
everyone's
crazy.
out. You know, it's
It's like
crazy. Yeah.
safe, dude. Like
Yeah,
it's not,
literally, yeah.
you know, people aren't getting.
Well, matter of
It's
fact,
warm out
let
there. I
me.
feel like the cold
So,
weather like makes people a little bit harder. It's like people.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a big reason why people in New
Yeah,
York are
literally,
so
that's like
pissed
I feel
off,
like it's so
bro.
easy to walk outside and it's cold. You're like, fuck this, dude. I could literally fucking
I
snap
mean,
my neck right now.
Yo, I'll tell you like this: coming here from Brooklyn, it would probably the first like 2 months or so was like adjusting back to living in
Yeah,
society.
yeah,
You know what I
exactly. Yeah,
mean? Like being a
yeah,
normal human being, not wanting to like just
yeah,
attack people, basically.
because New
You
York,
know,
you gotta
it's
finesse. You gotta
crazy.
like finesse around every corner,
yeah.
everything. Like everything is a
If you want to
yeah. If you
survive,
want to
yeah,
survive at all, like you have to really learn how to like play the system, and because a lot of things are bullshit.
Yeah.
Here, everything is just very straightforward. Like, dude, they don't have fucking tolls. You
That's
know
crazy.
what I mean?
yeah.
Crazy, right?
No,
Well,
no
it's
knowledge.
bro, it's funny because we drove out here, so we didn't fly. We
Whole
drove,
country.
and it was like a
Yeah,
35
like
hour
one side of
drive or
all the
whatever. We
country.
banged it out. Bro, we banged it out in a day and a half, just taking turns
Twelve
straight
12 hour
through.
shift.
Um, yeah, but it's funny, dude, because as you're going further and further west, like you just hit a point where there's just no
That's
more
crazy.
tolls,
That's
zero. Like,
Until you get
Bro, the East Coast is, yo, the East Coast is
robbing
fucked
us.
up in a lot of
They're
ways,
robbing
dude.
us, dude. They're
Straight, bro, robbery,
robbing us.
straight
just
robbery,
fucking
dude.
blind.
Literally.
Like,
They
dude, the
always find a
thing,
way around
I mean,
bro, people,
there's mad like lawsuits against
like
Easy
people on the
Pass.
East Coast are like hard, like Philly, New
it.
York,
Yeah,
all this shit. Bro, honestly, like we're kind of pussy. The fact that we're allowing all this stuff to happen, they got a
yeah.
congestion tax in
That's
Manhattan.
crazy. They're actually. I just seen something that said like they're like, bro, like they didn't even do like no studies behind that. Like, why'd they pick $9? Like, couldn't they have
They're
afforded like
just,
with three?
bro,
It's
they're just
crazy.
telling motherfuckers
Yo,
to
bro,
drive through the city. Like that's like we can't even
bro,
We
think
pay for
about it
the
like
roads.
this though, right? Let's say you were living in Brooklyn or whatever and you work in the city and you're driving and now you got to pay that toll every
Yeah,
single day. If you calculate that out to what
yeah,
you're now
$80.
paying a month, bro, and adding that to your monthly
$80.
expenses, bro, so but it's like then the question becomes it's like, all right, but what about the fact that they're taking 50% of my
bro.
money in
Yeah.
taxes?
I mean,
Where's
the
that
toll
going?
itself is a
You know
fucking
what I
car
mean?
payment if you're doing
That's
that.
what's funny though. They said that like the tolls. It's like
Well,
we paid for our taxpayers paid for the roads though. It's like these are public roads that we pay for.
I mean, dude, it's funny. It's mad funny because they're trying to push more people to take public
Yeah,
transport, so like the
yeah.
trains and the buses and whatever. But
So
meanwhile,
expensive.
the
Like,
quality of that is bro. Literally, I don't know if you saw on the news. You saw the one video, or it was like a migrant or whatever that
yeah,
lit a woman on fire. Bro, that was the Coney
That
Island
was
stop,
literally
3 minutes away. Bro, that was around the corner
oh
from where
my
our gym
god.
was. So, bro, imagine how
like I'm
that would have
talking
looked for
about.
business,
You
bro.
could
Like,
see that train station out the window of our gym.
Yeah,
Like,
well, a lot of our clients, it was the last stop, the Coney Island stop. That's where they would take the train to come for their workouts. So imagine we were still there. Imagine how that is for business,
It's like,
bro.
they're
oh, the
just
salt got lit
You
on
know what I
fire.
mean?
Oh,
Like, dude, it's scary,
I
bro.
didn't
Like,
trade
it's
myself. I
not.
wouldn't even. What
It's
are they doing
crazy.
there? And they probably, and who knows? But New York, they probably got crazy gun laws. So I know Jersey does. So you probably can't even
you
carry
Dude,
it.
can't.
but well, yo, that's another funny thing, dude. Like, so out in Arizona, right? Obviously, it's like PA. Like, you got
Yeah,
open carry, whatever. Like, you can just 21 years old, you can get a gun, and that's it, right? But out here, it's an interesting thing. Like, as far as the culture goes, out here it's like that law, like those laws are
mhm,
respected, so people don't abuse it. The way people are out here is they have respect for the fact that everyone's
yeah,
strapped. So people that are from here, if you're coming from different states, they'll tell you like, yo, don't try and like mouth
yeah,
off with people, like don't
There ain't
try
no
nothing
house.
because people out here don't play around. But everyone for the most part respects
yeah,
that concept, so there's
yeah,
less problems. It's very safe. Whereas if you try and people will argue like, all right, well, if you make the laws the same way somewhere like New York, it'll improve things.
yeah,
But it won't because the culture
yeah,
isn't the same in New York. If you allow all these people to start just walking in a store and buying guns, it's going to be a war
yeah,
zone on the streets. I mean, dude, look at
yeah.
Philly
Totally.
right now. Philly is like, it's like, I'm not going to say like New York, Philly,
Yeah,
one is worse than the other. They have their own
mhm,
their own specialties, but the thing with Philly, dude, is it's PA still, so the
yeah,
gun laws are a lot more
yeah,
lax. but it's a similar culture to New York. So you look at the streets, dude, and you got 12-year-old kids getting in gunfights on the street. Like, bro, one of the highest murder charges or murder rate numbers, whatever, in Philly right now is stray bullets. Because anybody that's ever shot a gun understands that it's not as simple as you just point it and pull the trigger. So you got these 12-year-olds getting in shootouts, you got bullets going everywhere and whatever. Out here, dude, the gun laws are exactly the same, but it's a culture thing. It's the people, it's respected, so the shit doesn't happen. I'd rather live somewhere like that, dude. I'm at a stage in my life. Dude. Like, I don't care about anything else except for what I got going on, my business, my clients, whatever it is. I want to be able to focus on all that stuff without having to worry about a million and one things outside of that.
Exactly.
You know,
to steady yourself, that type of deal. So you guys think like, what like from your own like personal fucking besides like obviously cost of living, what other impacts did you guys feel like moving to Arizona? Like what else did you guys feel? Like did you notice yourself like getting happier or like you just like you feel more relaxed?
well, biggest thing is simply like just what life looks like. Like in New York, you walk outside every single day, 24/7, no matter what season it is, the sky is just like a grayish white. Like it feels like it's fake.
Like
It
you're in
feels like you're in a
Gotham City.
simulation.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, well, because you are. You
the sky
are.
blue
Dude,
here, you see.
bro, you come out here, it's like the sky looks huge. You got mountains as far as you can see from every direction. You got palm trees. The sun's out. The sky's blue. So it's like, even if there's like a million and one things going on, you're stressed about this, you're stressed about that. At least you can walk outside and like smile. You know what I mean?
It was pretty
Like,
interesting, like moving out here, because I mean, like the year prior, because we were planning this for a year, and that year was rough because it's like my grandmother passed away at the end of 2023, and it was like things were up and down with the business. And then when we got here, shit was like really good. And this is actually the first time I'm even publicly saying this because I've never made a post about it or anything. But in October of 2024, our dog passed away unexpectedly. Like, dude, when I tell you, I'm still like picking up the pieces from that.
Oh my god, I could imagine.
So now imagine now we don't have to go to work. So now we're at home all day.
Yeah.
And you could just be depressed.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. It's so easy to fall into that trap.
yeah, dude.
You just go right into that.
And bro,
like
Biggie, our dog. Not to cut you off, but like Biggie, I mean, that was Eddie's dog, so he had him since 18 or 19 years old. And then when I moved to New York, I mean, dude, like, bro, we had this guy with us everywhere. Like when we had the gym, he was at work with us every day. Like our clients loved him. Yeah, and then I mean, dude, he made the drive out here with us. He was in the car with us the whole time. Like he was attached at our hips all the time. And even before,
drove here was because of him.
Yeah,
we weren't.
That's why we didn't fly.
We didn't fly. It was literally because of him. Even this apartment we got, like, the whole layout of it was planned out for him. Like we have a big balcony. Like we're like the thought process was like, all right, Biggie's gonna run around on the balcony and whatever. But he unexpectedly he passed away, and like, bro, that shit. When I tell you, like, dude, everything inside me just died. Like that's literally what it was. Like that was my son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was nothing in this world.
Can I not flip my camera?
So when he passed, and
no, but dude, I don't know if you can even say it, but like,
balcony. Oh my god, yeah.
It's big.
Bro, we got this balcony literally for him, bro. Like,
dude, so went like from
bro, we don't need that. We don't need that fucking,
to just fucking crashing down, you know. So, and
you feel like it was worse because you guys were working from home? You think? Do you think that like
way worse?
Yeah, because you weren't did not preoccupied of having to wake up and go out and get to work.
I'll tell you like this: like when my grandma died, right? So I only have really two relatives. So I have my mom. I had my grandmother. Right, that was my only two blood relatives that I interacted with. So when she passed away, we still had the gym, and I was fucked up from it, dude. Like of course, you know, because I had a very relationship with her. I
Were
mean,
you raised by your grandmother? Was your grandma like, were you raised in the same house or she was just super close to the family?
yeah, so I was raised by my mom and my grandma.
Okay.
So it was like the two of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when she
literally.
passed, and the thing is, for 2 years prior, I was taking care of her. Like, dude, we were going to the hospital all the time. It was a whole thing. So when she passed, the one thing that, like, the next day I went to work, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I went to train clients, and I
Yeah.
did that because I was like, you know what, this is just what I got to do.
Yeah, it's so easy to get wrapped up into that fucking
But at
hustle.
least,
Also, like, I gotta go, I gotta work, I gotta do this, I gotta do that.
but at least you have that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Have that to lean on. So you
Yeah,
go and you're like, all right, I can put this in the back of my mind while I'm
yeah.
training people. And like, dude,
And just
it
a sense of community. Like, it's so important. Like, you're in there talking to other clients and they're telling you about their good days. So you're kind of like, okay, like you're feeding off that a little bit. So it's like, okay, like this dude had a good day. That's sick. Like you feel the positivity. So you
exactly.
get other stuff from them. You're feeding off that.
It's also just the fact that you're also helping them. So
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
you have a purpose. You feel useful. So yeah, man. But here it's like, yeah, even though we were still obviously working with our clients, we
Yeah,
were doing our check-in calls, we were doing all that stuff. But you know, when you're not on camera or on the phone with somebody,
yeah,
like, bro, yeah, we were fucked up. Like, there were like we spent 2 weeks after that just staring at a fucking wall, like just sitting
yeah,
there, just like, you know,
Well, a big part of it, dude, is the fact that like, yeah, like we were in the house all day. Who was with
yeah,
us
yeah,
all day? Biggie
yeah,
yeah.
was, right? So it's like now it's
That's like
like that, bro. We wake up you wake up the next morning and then the next morning after that and next morning
come
after that
home,
and it's
nobody's
like
there waiting.
it's just not there, you know? It's like a
Yeah.
fucked up thing, you know?
And it was unexpected, dude. He was young. Like, he was about to be 8 years old this past December.
What kind of dog was it?
He was a bully,
Oh,
American
okay.
bully. And but he had aortic stenosis. So I
Oh,
knew that, which is like a heart condition. I knew that since he was a puppy, since I got him. And the doctors at the time basically told me, like, dude, listen, this dog could drop dead whenever,
mm,
type of thing. And I basically told the vets, go fuck yourself in a
yeah,
way, because it's like, how are you, like, I'm
yeah,
here for help. You're telling me my dog's gonna
yeah,
die.
exactly. Yeah,
I mean, and then when I spoke to a vet after the fact, basically what I was explained was the reason he even lasted that long was because he was so well taken care of. I mean, bro, this guy had a raw meat diet.
oh wow, we're all that.
He ate better
Bro,
than us. He
we
ate
were
better than we
spending
did, bro.
$380 a month on his fucking food.
Oh my god.
And that's just the meat. That's not
Yeah,
including like all the other
yeah,
things.
Yeah.
So, bro, this dog was very loved. Like, it just was what it was, but it was very sudden. Like,
yeah,
he didn't like get sick, like where he suffered. Like, he went very quick. He basically had a heart attack right next to me, and we rushed him to the emergency room. They couldn't bring him back. It was just fucked up. And like,
yeah,
even now talking about it, like, this is the first time I've talked about it publicly at all. That's why I'm even able to talk about it
yeah,
without being fucked up emotionally, because that's something like I never understood, man. Like, I'll see people, like, their pets die or people die, and like the first thing they'll fucking make a post on Instagram.
yeah,
I don't understand.
yeah,
Ah, it's
I
crazy.
don't understand the thought process behind it, because I don't want to at that moment
yeah,
share that with
yeah.
people.
No, yeah. We want to talk about it.
But I guess it's like people crave attention in that
Yeah,
sense. They want the woes me. I
yeah,
didn't want those messages. That's part of why I didn't post it. I didn't want people.
yeah.
Oh,
You gotta
sorry.
Exactly.
explain to
Oh
everybody.
my
Yeah,
god. Yeah, like
I wasn't trying to have the
yeah, no, yeah,
conversation of like
no,
what
yeah,
happened, like
don't
dozens
want
on dozens of
out, like,
times,
people will
dude.
be asking us and be like, "Oh my god, I didn't know," and all this shit. But like, at the end of the day, it's not anybody's business, to be
yeah,
fair. But it's just like, yeah, that's why we haven't been on social media. That's
yeah,
why we've been very like just trying to pick the pieces back up. But we're there now, and that's why we're starting this prep,
yeah,
because at the end of the day, like, we can't sit here and help people and try to do our best to coach our clients and help them with a lot of mindset stuff if we can't deal with
yeah,
certain things ourselves. And so that's kind of where we're at now. But to answer your question about like, were we happier? Like, dude, initially, yeah, like, I thought I made it to heaven at that point.
yeah,
Like, when we got here, when we drove into this community, man, like, I was just starstruck, dude.
yeah,
Like, I didn't, because like I'm saying, like, I come from apartment buildings. I've
yeah,
never lived.
exactly. Yeah,
You know what I mean? I've never like lived in a house. I don't know what it's like. I've never lived in a fucking luxury
yeah,
apartment, luxury community, whatever. to me, I was like, oh, this is like as good as it fucking gets, you
Yeah,
know.
right, yeah,
So
Most people from New York don't make it
yeah,
out of New
exactly, yeah,
York, bro. And they all want to. All of them want to, bro. Like the talk of New York is like
yeah,
escaping
exactly,
New
yeah.
York, you
but
know?
And it's
when
huge
It's
too. I mean,
crazy.
that's a big commitment for you guys too. Like that's a lot of like unsure. Like that's not something that's not like you're moving across the street. Like that you moved across the country,
Well,
and it's like and just with you two guys, it's
I
like
mean,
that's why it's that's such a big commitment because it's like you guys like if you get a flat tire, it ain't like you could just call your mom like, "Yo, mom, come drive me to work today. I got a flat." It's like you don't got nobody, so it's like or like something like say like when you
yeah.
guys had like when Biggie was alive, it's like if like, something happens to him or it's like or you're doing something, it's like could someone watch him? It's like that's a lot of like little stuff that you don't even realize that you have like that support system where you live until you move away. And it's like, holy shit, like I would call my dad, it's like, Dad, like, could you throw the
Well,
clothes in the dryer? I'm
you know
not home
what's
from work yet.
funny?
It's like when you're
You know what's funny though, dude? It's like a lot of times in most cases, even when you're in the areas you're from,
I
you
mean,
don't
we
have
didn't
that, bro.
really
You
have.
know? Like I'll tell you like this, for myself personally, dude, I've bounced around and lived in so many different places in
Mhm.
my life that like the move to New York felt like
Yeah,
nothing to me. The move out here
yeah,
feels like nothing to me. I'm just in a different place. I'm
yeah,
in a different place
yeah,
doing the same thing. You know, you know me, dude. Like I've always been like to
yeah,
myself. Like I do what I got to do, and that's what it is. So the way I look at it is whatever place makes me feel the best while doing what I need to get done
yeah,
is that's
100%.
where I'm gonna be.
See,
You know.
for me, it's not
So
like that because, dude, I know so many people in New York, and it's like you're
Yeah,
saying, like you could just call somebody for a thing,
yeah,
any kind of thing that you can imagine. I had someone that I could call,
yeah,
ask about it, or like get hooked up with something. Here, it's like it's weird because I don't have any connections to
yeah,
anybody.
exactly. Yeah,
I'm just like fucking. But at the end of the day, the reason that we were cool with doing that is because we're here together. So it's like, bro, we've done things that are
yeah,
fucking like we've gotten out of situations where it was like financial, business wise, where you look at shit like that, and that's where people like really just it all ends.
yeah,
I mean,
I mean, matter of fact, that I wanna just at least touch on this on the story. So I mean, dude, like we've done some crazy shit, bro. Like even for example, like with the gym, right? So when we were in the process of growing it, and things were up and down, everything was going on with his grandma at the time, and shit wasn't going as good as we wanted it to, obviously, right? So we have all these bills, we don't have help. Like it's not like we don't have parents that are dumping us. Like
yeah,
everything's on us. There's no plan B, there's no help. It's just from the bottom. If it's like there is no plan B because if plan
yeah,
A doesn't work, then
yeah,
we're fucked.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
pretty much.
So I I don't know, and
Yeah,
that's a crazy thing because a lot of people will like be trying to work towards something and they'll make these big moves or take these big risks, but it's a much different thing to do that when in the back of your head you have some kind
yeah,
of
oh yeah,
safety net. You have some parents you can fall back on. You can go live here. You can maybe not work for a little
yeah,
bit, get things in order. Like that's a whole different thing. But when there's no safety net
yeah,
whatsoever, you gotta act on things, but you gotta
yeah,
perform. You gotta get it done. So in that time, I mean, dude, we had all kinds of debt from trying to grow the business. We had all these bills. We're in New York. Everything's expensive. So we're making a pretty solid amount of money, but
A lot
all
of
of it's
overhead.
going just
A lot of
constantly,
overhead.
constantly. So do you know
yeah.
Alex Ramosi?
Love them.
Yeah, so do you know his company
Yeah, oh yeah,
Gym Launch? He sold it, but it was originally his. So we hired Gym Launch to help us
yeah,
scale the gym. It was literally a thing of like his grandma was getting out of the hospital in like 2 weeks
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever,
that's yeah,
and we needed to find a place to live because at this point I was out of that room and I was staying with him. His grandma was like in and out of the hospital and shit, so I was staying in the extra bedroom at their apartment. So when it was the thing of like, all right, she's coming home in 2 weeks from rehab, it's like, all right, we have to find a
yeah,
place in 2 weeks. We have to find an apartment in 2 weeks, and we have to make the money to be able to
yeah,
do that. Because also in New York, you got to pay first
yeah,
month, last month,
yeah,
security deposit,
you
broker's
figure
fee. You're paying
if
over
you're
10. You're paying over 10 grand to move
yeah,
into an
I mean,
apartment.
dude, if your rent is
That's
yeah,
3 grand,
standard.
like
That's
if your rent's
standard,
3 grand just to move in, we're not talking about furniture, we're not talking
yeah.
about anything like that.
bro.
9 G's. You know what I
It's
mean? Like,
Yeah,
crazy.
oh,
yeah. After
Yeah.
furniture, you're
Oh my god,
talking.
that could
You
be
you know
anything.
the deal. But So yeah, so we sat there and we're trying to, figure
Yeah,
it the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like we have no choice. So we hired gym lunch, dude, and like we spoke about getting mentors and being coachable, dude. In that time, like I need you to understand, like we had
Yeah,
no money, like we didn't
yeah.
have any money, and we signed this fucking contract, dude. It was like $42,000 for the
My
year,
no,
God.
right?
it was nuts.
We
It
put
was
it,
nuts. Like I remember,
bro. We
it
put
was
this
like
shit. We put this shit on some kind of
it
payment
was
plan,
like
bro. I don't
the
remember
initial
what
down payment was like. What did we give them? 6, 7,000. I forget what the fuck it was.
we gave them. We gave them like 7 grand, and then it was $800 a
Bro,
week
it was
until it was
crazy,
paid
bro. I
off,
remember like making this payment off the business account. Like I remember like giving them the card info, just thinking in
dude.
my head, like, yo, if this doesn't work, then I'm just done. Like,
It's like
I
Yeah,
can't
cooked,
odds.
bro.
like,
Bankruptcy.
Cooked.
yeah, bro.
But listen, bro, we did it,
I actually remember,
and
like, it
there
was
was no
fucking
plan.
yesterday, bro. I was on my way back from the hospital from seeing my grandma, and they called me because we were on the phone with their sales guy and
Yeah,
whatever. And they're like trying to get the information from me, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm just gonna pull the trigger. So
yeah.
as I'm fucking driving, I'm like reading my card info, bro. It was nuts.
Bro.
What a crazy fucking
So
time.
what happened? So was it successful or like what?
Fuck
So we did it, and we popped it off, bro. So like we started working with them. Yeah, dude, and like we maxed the place out. Like we were at full capacity. Like
Easy.
we were fucking doing really really
yeah,
well. Like bro, I'm talking like we had like not only did we have to get an apartment, like we
Yeah,
had
oh,
debt,
so
like
this
just
actually,
all this, bro.
this actually, like, this is a good point to make because everything happens for a reason in
yeah,
life. Like every
yeah,
thing that you go through, and like sometimes you have circumstances where you have to undertake certain things that you don't fucking want to do and that suck and that you hate and you don't want to get up and go do them every day.
mhm,
That was kind of me when I was doing sales, like tech
yeah,
sales, when I had my first gym. But when we all that experience that I got there,
yeah,
we got gym launch directly correlated to that because now you're talking about you're
Yep.
getting these leads coming in through the ad, doing
yeah,
the messaging, they come in, you have to sell them. So it was, to me, it was like, oh shit, like I know how to do this, you
yeah,
know? So that when it all aligned, like, yeah, dude, it was like it just comes together.
I mean, to add on to that too, like I'll say to this day, like moving to New York for myself was probably the biggest like blessing in like personal
yeah,
development from I guess you could say. Like not only in the fact of getting experience, training, working with the people in the sense of training one on one, and just learning different body types and just all these different things, different careers, day to day lives, things of that nature. But even in the sense of growing a business, like talking to people, being one on one in meetings, sales, like dude, I had these leads coming in through the
yeah,
software we were using from the ads they had us running, and bro, I was calling like 100 plus people a day to set up
yeah,
like appointments, and then those appointments, because Eddie had the sales experience already, they were sitting down with him, and I was basically just sitting there in those meetings,
yeah,
just learning, dude. You know what I mean? And now, like again, everything happens for a reason. Because, for example, that I was doing like online coaching before I
yeah,
even went to New York, right? I had already at that point at like 17, 18 years old paid for another
yeah,
mentor to help me grow the online business. And my social media was hot at the time. I had all these people, but what I didn't have was people
yeah.
skills. I didn't
It's
have
huge.
sales
That's a huge
skills.
thing.
I didn't know how to, yeah. So I could have stayed in PA and tried to do all
Yeah,
these things, but it would have just been stuck at a certain point because I didn't have, and these are skills that like you can learn, but the realest way of learning them and actually getting good at utilizing it is real world
No,
experience. So it was a thing of like I was kind of thrown into
yeah,
the deep end out in New York and just
yeah,
had to do the I had to
Meta-
figure it out.
Metamorphosis is crazy because when he moved out, he was like just like very quiet, bro. Like
yeah,
didn't really talk, and then like just watching him like learn to talk to more
mhm,
people, be more like social with people because it's hard to be social and likable to somebody that you might not care to even talk to.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Exactly. It's hard to. Yeah. It's hard to
It's
be
a skill, like
open
you
up with
have
somebody they
to.
don't even. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So, but generally, honestly, just as a note to anybody that's watching this podcast, and they get any kind of inspiration from any of these stories and they're looking to do like make their own business and do their own thing, highly unrecommended. Get a good job. Like straight up, just get a good fucking job. Like
Yeah.
all jokes aside, like
Yeah.
let me just break down so far, at least in my experience. I don't know. Some people they start a business and it pops off and it's fairy dust and fucking unicorn farts, but that's not what it was for us.
Yeah.
For us, it's like I said, 12, 13, 14-hour days,
Yeah.
waking up in the middle of the night with a fucking anxiety attack,
Yeah.
seeing your bank account go from zero to fucking 20 grand to
Yeah.
zero to, you know, and
We lost Colton.
I think his phone might have died.
His phone might have died. You keep going.
We'll be back, but
Wait,
he'll be back.
you lost
But
me?
yeah, dude, like
There we go.
anybody that
You
Yeah,
lost
for a
me?
second.
Interesting.
anybody
Yeah.
that wants to start their own business, just know like prepare for the absolute worst because the shit sucks. And unless you really love what you're doing and you're willing to go through that process for many, many, many years, like everybody says, it's at least a decade. I 100% agree with that. Like you have to put in at least 10 years until you see real success. And you have the anomalies that will fucking do something for a few months, a year, and they'll blow up. But I guarantee you that money doesn't last. Like you want something sustainable because keep in mind, a business doesn't give you a 401k. Now, like you could do an individual 401k and you could do all that fun stuff, but like we're not going to get into all that. But it does not come with benefits. You
Yeah.
don't get health.
Well, I'll tell you like this, not to cut you off, but to even touch on the sense of like some people start something, a business, they blow up on social media, they might start making all kinds of money very quick or very early. There's certain things in the sense of like business, and like you said, no 401k, just if we're talking years down the line, there's certain things that you don't know until you
Yeah.
learn them. And they're going to hit you eventually, and you're going to have to learn them. In our case, I'd argue that experiencing a lot of those things earlier and learning them earlier on. I mean, dude, I'm 24, he's 26. Like, we have our
Yeah.
30s, we have our 40s, we have our 50s. I'm confident in the fact that the money is going to stay for
Yeah.
decades because there were lessons that were learned that we unfortunately had to learn a lot earlier than
Yeah.
a lot of people. But that's what teaches you to not make those same mistakes.
Yeah.
Whereas I even know a lot of people personally that I saw, over the years when my social media was growing when I was younger, just guys that kind of popped off when they were 18, 19 and started making all this money. I've seen multiple different situations where now they're 24, 25, 26, and most of that money's gone and it's
Yeah.
not coming back in. And it's like, all right, what the
Yeah.
fuck do I
Exactly.
do now? And it's like, it's an even
Because
shittier
you had the high, so
situation when,
now you're back in the low. So if you were just low the whole time,
yeah,
you're
so
not missing one.
there's certain things that are going to hit you and you're going to have to learn them at some
It's
point,
even worse when you're on your own.
and
That's another thing.
most,
Like me
yeah,
and Colt, like we obviously have each other, and like
Yeah.
what we have, like our partnership and our relationship with each other is like we might as well have grew up together, you know, like because we've known each other for a very long time, but we might as well have fucking grew up in the same house. Like Colt's my brother, so it's like no matter what happens, I mean, how many times have you seen it in business where partners fucking
Oh my God.
break apart because of money and because of bull?
Crazy.
Like it's also very hard. Like if you're by yourself, it's even harder.
Mhm.
But it's also very rare to find somebody whose vision aligns with yours
Yeah.
and you just fucking both go all in on one objective.
Mhm.
That's 1 out of 100, you
Yeah,
know.
it is extremely
yeah.
rare. That's what's it's hard to find
Well,
people like that in
it's
general.
well the reason that it really doesn't exist or it's the 0.1% is because it might all make sense when things are going good. Your
Yeah.
visions might align when things are working and everything's great. But in most cases like that, as soon as things start going remotely bad or things start looking dark, the relationship
People
gets
start
fucked
putting
up. Someone does the other
because
person dirty.
nobody takes accountability for anything,
Yeah.
right? So people want to point fingers. Nobody wants to
Yeah.
point the finger back at themselves and say, you know, maybe there's something that I can improve here. Like
Mhm.
maybe there's, you know, what a lot of times it's hard in those high pressure situations to, you know, put your heads together and be like, all right, how can we figure this out? Most people don't do that. Most
No.
people start
I feel
start
like that's the biggest nowadays. That's a big thing in relationships in general, like friendships, relationships. It's like oh, my boy said this thing, fuck him, I'm not talking to him anymore. Or it's like, oh, my girl did this thing I didn't like, so it's like, oh, fuck her, break up. It's like for you guys to like know, like, all right, we're friends regardless. It's like that's such a big thing, and it's like that's so lost nowadays. It's like relationships are so disposable, and I mean, like friendships. It's so funny, like I mean, because obviously, like like they say, like stoic, be stoic, stay to yourself, and it's like that's cool and all, but it's like I get so much. I'm sure you guys understand too, like how much friendship adds value to your life. Because it's like I'm sure, like if something good happens to either one of you, you guys are so happy for each other. But it's like if you were just that stoic dude and stayed to yourself and did your own coaching by yourself and did it by yourself, you don't have that friendship. So it's like I feel like so many people like brush off friendship so easily that it's like, I'm cool by myself. I'm a loner, but it's like you get so much out of it because it's like, say Colton like gets a fucking girl and like they get married, have a kid. I'm sure like you'd be so fucking happy for him. And it's like if you didn't get married, it means nothing
I
to
mean,
you.
bro, I'd be the best man. You know what I'm saying? I'd be right there. So it's like,
Yeah,
but it's 100% that because it's like when we win, it's not like Colt won with something or I won, like
yeah,
we win together. So it's like,
Well, dude, it's very simple. Like, let's say we were to make $100,000 next month, right? It's not a thing of like, all right, I made 30,
yeah,
he made 70, I made 60, he made 40. No, we made a
yeah,
hundred thousand
that's,
dollars.
that's,
The same way that if we lost $50,000, it's not a thing of like, all right, I lost 40, he lost 10, or whatever you want to make it up. We lost fifty
yeah.
thousand dollars. But that's where like friendship is very important. I agree with everything you're saying, but in today's world at least, you need to be very, very sure about who your
How did
friends
you guys
are.
build this friendship? Like when you guys
Especially if
first
you're gonna
started, like how
be
did this become such a tight knit friendship? Like where does it stem from? Like how did you guys? It's just like who you guys are. Like you're very loyal people, or is it just something you guys over the years built the trust because you know each other? Or
it's really
well,
both.
I'll tell you like this. Like I think like we're just definitely both very loyal people that have gotten fucked over a lot by a lot of people. Um, but like I mean, dude, the way we met, so when I was a teenager, probably like 16, I think he was like probably 18 at the time. You know John
Even
Effer, right?
younger, dude, 18. I got into that group chat after my first show. I was like 17, maybe.
I got in there at like 15 or
That,
16. I don't even
no,
remember, but
you were like
mad long
15 and I
ago.
was 17. That's I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah.
All right, well, so
Oh,
John Effer,
okay.
it was basically like a DM of just like a bunch, just all like the best teenage bodybuilders. So it was like John Effer was in there, Eddie was in there, and basically all these guys like Eddie, John, and whoever everyone else that was in there, they were all doing teen nationals. But I was younger than everyone, so I wasn't doing it. But I guess John added me because he was
yeah,
like, "Yo, this kid's a freak" or whatever. So just over the course of like months, years, whatever, talking in that DM, we kind of just like started talking outside of that DM because we just kind of
yeah,
connected more because just our visions
yeah,
aligned more. They were kind of all just full on just like
yeah.
bodybuilding this that, and we had a lot of different things that just connected. Um, but for the longest time, bro, for whatever reason, we thought we lived like 4 or 5 hours
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah, yeah.
When you're young, yeah.
Like,
When you're young,
bro,
you think
I'm
New York
thinking,
2 days away.
bro,
It's like,
bro, in my head, I'm thinking like fucking like New York. It's like four and
you
a
know,
half
New
hours,
York.
whatever. The one day randomly, the one day randomly, I like popped the shit in my GPS and look, and it was like an
Yeah,
hour and
it's
a
crazy.
half. And I'm like, what the
No
fuck? I'm like an hour
like
and
an
a half.
hour
What?
time, bro.
Yeah,
Like something like that.
Yeah, I was like, what are we doing? So, yeah, so I started going out to New York here and there. We would link up, train, whatever. And then, I mean, you remember, probably like 2020 when me and my
yeah.
ex broke up. So during that time, like Eddie was pushing me to move out there because he wanted to have me come and do the
Like
gym
I
with
was
him,
doing
and
really well, so I was like, dude, like whatever it is,
Mhm.
like I got you, like
Yeah.
we're good. So, and then we went to Miami actually. That was it that same year, or the year before.
we went to Miami like the end of 2020, and then I ended up moving early
Yeah, yeah.
2021. But the original plan was we were gonna move to Miami and open up a
We
gym out
went to
there.
Miami to look at
But
locations. That's like literally what it
Yeah.
was. We had a
yeah,
real estate agent, like we toured a few commercial spots. It just didn't make sense. It didn't line up. But
well, I mean, dude, it didn't make sense, but it was also a thing of like this was the like in real time process of all of New York moving to
Yeah,
Miami.
yeah,
So it essentially just became fucking Miami or New York
Yeah,
with palm trees. And then now we're sitting here in 2025, and if I was in Miami right now, I'd be
yeah,
disgusted. I would have
yeah,
left already. You know, it's a disgrace out there now. But yeah, so beginning of 2021, whatever it was, is I mean, I was fucked up after that breakup, bro. Like I was
yeah,
messed up. Like dude, my day literally, I spiraled, bro. Like that was like I don't know if you've seen any of the
yeah,
posts that I put up where I was like mad out of shape, and then like got back in shape. Like, bro, you know me. Like I was bodybuilding as a
literally, yeah.
freshman in high school. I did my
You
first
were
show
like
at
the young
16.
dude.
Like
Everyone knew
for
who
as
Super
long
Funny
as,
was because he was the only bodybuilder.
bro.
Yeah,
Well, I was doing it
yeah,
before it was
yeah, yeah,
fucking cool, bro. I was doing it
yeah,
before fitness became
yeah,
a trend. Like when I was in high school doing it, bro, people were
yeah,
making fun of me. I was a weirdo
yeah,
for
100%.
bodybuilding. You know what I mean? But so during that time, like all I knew was like since I could remember into like my
Yeah,
younger adult years was being in
yeah,
shape,
yeah,
looking better than everybody, like being in this
yeah,
body. Like even if people didn't know who I was, everyone in like a
mhm.
30-minute radius of the area knew that like I
Oh
was like
yeah, for
that
sure.
bodybuilder kid. You know? So during that time, like, bro, I got mad fucking depressed. Like a little before me and her broke up, I was looking
Yeah,
pretty good, like still training, whatever. But outside of that, like I had started online coaching, I started doing some e-commerce stuff. Like I started making
yeah,
some money. Like I started like making something happen while I was still there. That shit happened, spiraled, we broke up, and bro, I fucked everything up. Like I spiraled. The businesses like both fucking plummeted because I just wasn't doing anything. My day for literally 6 months was like waking up at 1 in the afternoon, like smoking myself to sleep again, waking up, like eating a meal, smoking, going to the gym, and then just going home, going to sleep
yeah.
and repeating.
Did
You
you in
know?
real time? Did
So
you
like
know like
during
you
that,
felt depressed, or it just was like it was just like your new norm, or you knew like, damn, I'm down bad. Like I could tell, like I don't feel like myself, or you were just kind of like you
bro,
just thought this was the new me now that I'm single.
it's fucked up because I knew
Yeah,
exactly what it was. Like I knew, like I felt all of it
That's
in
the
real
worst part
time.
about those
But
situations because you're like almost trapped in your own body.
well,
yeah,
here's the bro. The problem was that I like, and this ties into why moving to New York was
yeah,
such a blessing for me because I wasn't able to be on my own. Like I guess you could
yeah,
say I essentially didn't love myself enough, right? So basically everything that I was doing wasn't really
yeah,
for me. It was kind of like for this other person, for this relationship, for where I wanted that to go. So it was like this money that I was making, these little businesses that I started to figure out, like it
yeah,
wasn't for me. So as soon as that shit ended, it's like I was in this fucked up state, all depressed, but I was fully aware of it, but I didn't
yeah,
fucking care because my thought process was like I don't want this.
yeah,
Like it was, I didn't care about it
yeah,
truly myself. Like I didn't care to do anything for myself. So during those months, Eddie was like pushing me, move out to New York, move out to New York, move out to New York, and like I was fully confident in it. I knew I was gonna do it, but in my head, it was more so like more out of respect for him. I had to like at least get myself back out of
yeah,
that fucking hole before I go out and do that because I was a mess, right? So, I had a friend, my friend Mert. I don't know if you ever met him, but during those months, that span, this kid was with me like every single day.
That
Like
boy, man.
he pushed me. Yeah, shout out to Mert. But like him and Eddie are cool now. Like they've gotten
I
to
wouldn't,
link
I
up.
wouldn't
Like it's a
call
pretty cool
that.
thing.
I
But
mean, Mert's kind of a pussy.
chill,
chill.
chill.
That's a boy.
Mert's the guy. Mert's a good
Fuck.
dude. But Mert's a good dude. But like I will say, like if it wasn't for Mert, I probably wouldn't have moved to New York. Like he was a big reason why I kept my sanity, and he was a big person that like honestly one of the only people in my life at that time outside of my dad that was encouraging me to like, dude, like
Yeah,
make the move. It'll be good for you. Like you can do it. You can make it happen. So he was huge for that. And then once I actually made the move out to New York, like I told you, originally I moved out there and I was in a
yeah.
room in bro, it was dude, Eddie found it for me on Facebook in some like Russian speaking Facebook group because Brooklyn's like all Russian, bro.
Because
Dude, yo, it was in this older Russian woman's
That's crazy.
apartment, right? And it was like I had the bedroom in the back and it had like its own little bathroom in it, and like dude, this woman barely spoke
You're
English.
trying to.
Her grandson lived with her,
yeah,
bro. and like that's where I was
Bro, she
living.
had like
But
this grandkid with like some kind of mental issues, and it was
he was autistic.
what it
He was
was.
autistic.
But he was like on that like surf in the spectrum. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like really
Yeah, yeah. Good kid.
good
Good
kid.
kid. But so why I say like it was so, big for me moving to New York was like I told you, bro, like I couldn't
Yeah.
be on my own. Like I
Yeah.
didn't love myself like at all, right? So I was so not used to being alone because you remember my first relationship
Yeah.
that went really bad. And then very shortly after that is when I got
Mhm.
into the second one. So I never really allowed myself time to
Yeah.
be alone. Like from 15 to 20 years old, I was in two
Yeah.
relationships, 3 years and almost 3 years. So when I moved to New York, it's like, obviously I had Eddie, but at first it was a thing of, I was in this woman's apartment. I wasn't getting clients immediately. So a lot of my time, bro, like was in this bedroom in
Yeah.
this
Just
apartment. So
in by yourself, it's
dude,
solitary.
but I essentially put myself into a situation where like I had two options. Like I can either just not get this shit figured out and plummet in New York,
Yeah.
which was not a good move, or I can sit here and like force myself to just be alone with myself and understand what the fuck I want, why I want it. So in that sense, dude, it was really really good as far as like like personal development, but it was
Bro,
also a
Ryan,
thing
we were
of
getting
like,
ready for Easterns at this time. Like this is dope.
oh, I was prepping, bro. Dude, you don't understand, bro. I was getting ready for
Madman.
fucking
Yeah,
Easterns, bro. Bro, yo, you don't understand, bro. I couldn't use the kitchen in her apartment, right?
it was all
Bro,
women.
I bought an air fryer, bro. I did my entire prep out of a fucking air fryer
You
in my
couldn't use your
bedroom,
kitchen?
bro.
What the hell were you allowed to use? She's like,
Bro, no, I couldn't use the
$900
kitchen,
a
bro.
month? You couldn't even use the kitchen?
Bro, that's
Nope.
how it is.
Bro,
Bro.
she had
It's yeah.
my bathroom didn't have a shower, so I had to use the one in fucking the main bathroom. That was the one thing I was allowed to do. But dude, think about it, bro. All of my meals, like I'm cooking in this little fucking air fryer, bro. Like I'm bouncing back and forth. Like I have to go to the
Yeah.
gym to train the clients I had. Like, bro, like it's freezing fucking winter time in New York, bro. Just walking 3 blocks to the gym to do cardio at 5 in the morning when it's fucking
Yeah.
snowing, 40-mile-an-hour wind. So like I put myself, I mean, we spoke about this earlier in the call, whether it's bodybuilding, life, whatever, people don't want to be
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Right. I put myself in probably more discomfort than most people
Yeah.
will ever feel in their entire
Yeah.
life. And I did that in the span of like a
Yeah.
couple years. And I don't necessarily recommend for
Yeah.
people to do that if they're going through some fucked up
Maybe
shit.
take it easy.
This is not
Because
advice. Like none of this
Yeah.
shit is
listen,
advice. Like definitely not. I would not.
it's just the way I went about it. Like you got to be a very specific type of person to be able to
Yeah.
endure that and actually make the
You
most
gotta
out of it
be
in the right
comfortable
direction.
going into things where there's like a solid possibility that it all crashes and burns,
Yeah.
and you got to be okay with that if it does. And you got to
Tolerance. Yeah.
you got to sit there and accept the fact that all right, but what happens if this happens? Like,
Yeah.
will I be able to pick up the pieces and start
Yeah.
again? So to me, every time I ask myself that question, the answer is always yes. Like if I have
Yeah.
to start from scratch, I could always keep starting from scratch. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop. But there's a lot of people that they fuck up once. They might be able to do it once, like start
Yeah.
again once. But after that, I mean, yeah, like it's hard. Like, and I
Yeah.
don't blame anybody. Like I see a lot of
Yeah.
people go that
Yeah.
route that kind of just like live a
But
very like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a very safe life, I guess.
Oh yeah.
And that's okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yo,
Probably the better option.
just to add to that a little bit, what I was saying. So because like I don't know if anyone watching this is probably
Oh,
going through some kind of crazy situation, whether it's heartbreak, whatever the case may be. If you can just get yourself to be able to get uncomfortable and be able to endure that and actually learn what you need to learn, everything happens for a reason. And I can prove that off the simple fact that, like I said, I was in those two really long relationships. That's all I knew. I couldn't be on my
Mhm.
own, right? And especially when the second one ended, bro, it was a thing of like I lost everything once that was over. Like to me, it
Yeah.
was everything. Nothing else mattered, right? But the way I look at it is, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change any of that time where I was fucked up and just struggling, because I mean, what did I get out of that? I lost someone who I thought was everything to me, but I ended up learning that that's actually not the reality, right? You can't be in
Yeah,
denial. Like, that's not the reality. But I gained somebody that I can call a brother for the
mhm,
rest of my life. And that's something that I can be fully confident in.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And outside of that, what came along with that was all the personal development, all the skills, all these things that, let's say everything was fucking sunshines and rainbows and I stayed in that relationship. Probably would have ended up being some regular guy that's going to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life, end up getting married and hating my life and all these different things. So even though in that time that's the only thing I thought I wanted in the world, looking back on it now, all that suffering makes all the sense in the world, and I would do it a million times over.
isn't
Right.
that, I feel like that's so
So
funny. I feel like that's so funny because then, like you said, like you get so much personal growth out of it, and it's like it's so funny because then it kind of makes you like excited, like how you guys said, like you guys know you have each other, so it's like if you fail and everything goes to zero, it doesn't matter because it's like once you go through experiences like that, it's kind of like when shit starts to go wrong, you're like, dude, I can't wait to see like what this is going to teach me for the future because it's like
yeah.
you
Yeah.
start planning.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. I'm gonna tell you like this. As far as just me and Eddie's just personal relationship, like he said, like we're brothers. Like it's blood at this point, bro. Like he can look at my dad as a fucking dad. I can look at his mom as a
Yeah.
mom, and that's no
My
exaggeration
mom will
whatsoever.
tell people, like, as
So
far as anyone's concerned, like, she has like two boys. You know what I mean? Like, that's how
yeah,
that's where we're at. You know what I mean? So, but it's a thing of
but
no, go
let me not cut you off. But just to add to what I was gonna say is like the reason I said like I have a brother for the rest of my life, and I can be confident in that. We've gone through we've been through the
Yeah,
lowest of the low together already. Like, we've gone through shit that would have broken
mhm,
anybody. Like, the, like, I even look back on relationships I was in, other friendships I've had. Like, if I would have even remotely compared going through the things we went through with any of those people, it would have crumbled
yeah,
yeah, of
immediately.
course.
We've already experienced the absolute worst, so that's why we're going to experience,
yeah,
the
exactly.
best. But even if shit just so happens 2 years down the line come crashing down, I'm confident in the fact that like nothing
Well,
changes. We just figure it out together. You know
gained
what I
so
mean?
much experience and so much skill that it's like, all right, bro, what's the worst thing that could happen? We get some 9 to 5s temporarily
Yeah,
and build it back up. You
yeah,
know what I mean? What's the worst thing? But I
Exactly.
mean, dude, it doesn't stop because, all right, like when we made it out here, we were like, all right, we reached like a pinnacle.
mhm,
Now we keep going up. Something that we would have never expected to happen. Our dog
yeah,
died.
yeah,
That shit
Yeah.
put us on our knees again.
mhm,
Like we had a very short, like this is what I want to point out. We had a very short time of like this blissful, like this is fucking
yeah,
awesome. Everything's going great, and then some shit happens, and now we're once again figuring out how to come out of that into the next phase of growth. So it's really a thing of and I got really depressed. I believe in depression from a clinical standpoint,
mhm,
from like you have like an actual chemical imbalance in your
yeah,
brain. But depression as a state of being when something bad happens to you, I mean that's normal. That's not
yeah,
like, you don't need meds. I don't believe you need meds for that. I don't think
yeah,
it's something fucked up. But the way one really cool thing and like I noticed myself depressed. Like, dude, I couldn't wake up in the morning. Like I
yeah,
was waking up at 5 a.m. with no alarm. All of a sudden I'm sleeping till noon. So it's certain things
yeah.
like I didn't want to train, didn't want to eat my meals. The thing with depression, and for anybody that believes they're depressed or is depressed that's listening, healing from depression doesn't start when you feel better.
Yeah.
Healing from depression starts when you get angry. So when you get angry at your situation, when you get angry of feeling the way that you feel, you just get sick and tired. That's when shit starts to change because at that point, your everyday state of being is more uncomfortable than the things that are required in order to progress into the next stage. In
When did that
order,
light bulb click for you? Like when did you get angry? Like after you were depressed for how long? Like what made you finally like snap your fingers and say, oh fuck, like this is I'm pissed. Like this isn't how I want to live my life. I need to snap out of it a little bit. What was that moment for you? Like did you have that light bulb moment?
yeah, this was. I mean, you know what? This was a recent thing. And so throughout my life, a lot of my energy and a lot of the things that I've done were based around rage. So it's like somebody that doesn't believe that I could do something,
Yeah,
something, I would create an enemy in my head of like, like the David Goggins thing, right?
Yeah.
There's some motherfucker out there that's doing
Yeah, I
more.
love it.
Love that shit. It's like
Yeah.
I'll create that for myself.
Mhm.
But I noticed in this specific instance when Biggie passed away, I didn't have access to that anymore. Like I
Yeah.
can snap my fingers like when I'm training and get mad and like
Yeah.
I lost it. Like it was like just gone with the wind.
Yeah.
And I remember kind of like I knew it was happening. It's not like I knew that I was in the state of like I'm fucked up, like I need help.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
started doing research because that's how I'll go about things. Like if there's a problem, I'm gonna look for the solution to solve it as soon as possible. Because a lot
Yeah.
of people will go to like a therapist, for example, and but they don't really want to solve the problem. That's
Yeah.
how they end up with their therapist for fucking
Yeah.
5 years talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a thing of I started looking into it and I'm like, all right, like I know what's causing this. My dog died. I didn't expect it,
Yeah.
but I started to have a debate with myself of if that source of energy, anger, was even a good source of energy to use anymore.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Because at some point you have to let it go.
Yeah.
I was at a conflict of like, do I just submit to the fact that I'm fucked up and like kind of try to maneuver that? Do I try to find that anger somewhere and bring it out? And it's crazy because I went grocery shopping that day. And I remember I was just scrolling through my phone and I follow like a few psychologist type
Mhm.
people. And it was this one post that, like, I don't know why I started swiping through it, but the last slide was literally kind of along the lines of what I said, that like a person doesn't start feeling better when they just miraculously feel better. They start
Yeah.
feeling better when they get fucking pissed
Yeah.
and they do something about it. That's the only way to get out of
Yeah.
that situation. So when I read that, what happened was in my mind, I sat there and I was like, no, so my approach is valid. Like
Yeah.
it's okay to use anger for certain
Yeah.
things. And that like flipped the switch of like, all right, I know I don't have it now, but now I'm going to start doing everything I can to build it back up, which means now I go and do cardio in the morning. I sit in
Mhm.
the sauna, been on point with my meals, been training. We're starting this prep now. And it's an accumulative process. It's not like
Yeah.
this. It's not
Yeah.
like I wish it was like
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's like, oh, I'm good. Like I'm
Yeah.
ready. It's not like that. It's a thing of like, once you realize it, you now
Mhm.
have to remind yourself of that shit damn near every minute of every day, because when you are depressed and in that type of state, those bad thoughts creep in all the time.
Mhm.
And it's a slippery slope. It's very easy
Yeah.
to go down that route and just get consumed by these negative emotions and these thoughts because, I mean, dude, our brains are wired this way. Our
Yeah. Totally.
brains literally produce dopamine when we feel bad for ourselves.
Yeah.
Like our brains love it. Like they love the depression. So fighting out of that, and I'm still fighting out of that. I wouldn't say I'm completely out of it. I have my moments. Like I have
Yeah.
my moments. I think about my dog, because my dog and my grandmother. This happened in like a year span.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So I
Yeah. That's rough.
I have those moments, but it's like at the end of the day, there's people that also have it much worse.
Mhm.
There's a kid somewhere. There's a kid out there somewhere in a fucking hospital that just got told he has 2 months to live.
Yeah. Exactly.
There are people
Yeah,
that
it is crazy to have different. Like when you open your mind to different perspectives like that, it's always like damn. It's like a little realization. It's like damn. People are like one of the best expressions is like someone out there has it worse than you and is doing better than you with them circumstances. So it's like you tell yourself, oh, I
I
can't do
mean,
shit.
dude, I'll tell you
exactly.
straight up. I mean, that's a big part of what I even used to help me get out of the depression that I was in. Way back. What I would tell myself is I'd be sitting there all fucked up, just upset, whatever, and I'd be thinking about it like, yo, someone's sitting in a hospital right now. They got told they have a
Yeah,
week to live. Someone, you could come up with a million and one examples of what people could be going through, and I'd be laying there and like I'm laying here just all fucked up over what, a
it's
girl.
crazy.
You know what I mean? And bro, I would sit there and tell myself that to the point where it would
Yeah,
get me
literally.
mad. Because then I'd be pissed the fuck off. I'd be like, yo, who
Yeah,
the
literally.
fuck am I? You know what I mean? It would like
Yeah,
remind me, like, yo, I'm the one that's
yeah,
upset. Like, what am I doing right now? You
And that
know? So yeah, like that anger is you need if you can use that correctly, that's going to be the fuel to help you accomplish
I
most
mean,
things
it's
in
like
life if you have the right
I'll
drivers.
drop something else in here too. I mean, dude, the hack, I guess you could call it, to getting out of the shit the most common symptom of depression is people have trouble getting out of bed in the morning. Like that's one of the most, like they cannot fucking, they keep hitting snooze just over and over again. Literally, the main hack is your feet just have to touch the ground. That's it. Just your feet just have to touch the ground. Just get up, and like from there, you'll figure it out. But you're already up. Like that's half the battle. So that's what it is for me. Certain mornings. I mean, it's been much better now. But when I first started this is the thing. When you start off and you have like motivation of like I want to feel better.
Yeah.
First few days, the first week or so is it's actually pretty fucking easy.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, I'm on it.
Wrapped up.
But that like 12th, 13th, 14th day where like these feelings start to creep back in and you start thinking about it, like the exact dialogue I'll go through in my mind is like, but what's the point really? Like, who gives a fuck? You know, like how many, you've done all these shows already. Like, what do you care? Like, what do you have something to prove, whatever? But that type of thinking is like, what the fuck is that? That's like, like loser fucking thinking.
Then you feel like what Colten said. Then you start getting mad at yourself. Like, why am I thinking like a fucking loser? Like, I'm not this type of dude. Like,
exactly. But that process needs to happen. Like, you need to have that where you recognize.
Most people, that's the process that they completely skip, or they're not even really aware of. Like, a lot of people aren't really. At least they don't think they are. They don't think they're capable of getting angry in those situations. So they become okay with just what they think the reality is. They don't understand that they could change the reality. You know what I mean? That's a big problem.
To go back to that question you asked earlier, like, what do we like really get? Like, how do we feel fulfilled doing what we do? Bro, like we have these conversations with our clients. Because, dude, we've had people that have been through some shit. And it's when you talk to those people and you're able to give them your perspective on it and you kind of even at least like validate some of their shit, they're like, dude, like I've been through it too, and this is what I did and it helps them. I mean, that's it right there. Like that's gotta be my favorite.
Well, that was a big thing for me, even like because I jumped into New York coming off of that depression. I was still holding on to it. The types of people that I was able to even work with on a day-to-day basis in the gym, all different ages, different cultures, different walks of life. I'm speaking to people that weren't even born in America. I'm speaking to people that, maybe they came recently. And dude, I'm comparing struggles and problems with different types of people. And it's like, yeah, like I had a lot of shit that was rough, but at the end of the day, like hearing what these people were going through, that was a big help in like understanding, dude, figure this shit out, So yeah, absolutely. It's always good to
like that's
it's always good to compare situations, man. In senses like that.
It's huge. Like you said, that's a big thing for me. Just like I feel like just having a positive perspective on life in general, because like we said, like that the whole girlfriend thing. It's like you can like that. You can look at it as that because. Or there's an expression, it's like, it's better to love and lost than never love at all. Because it's like, you might have, like, yeah, it sucked, but it's like, in them 3 years, you might have had a good ass fucking 3 years. It's like, yeah, that sucked, you guys broke up. But then it also led to all this personal growth. So it's like, realistically, it was a win-win for you. Because, like, you had 3 good years with her.
Yeah.
And you fucking.
Well, dude,
so
now.
Like, I'm happy I was in that relationship.
Yeah, well, and now it's at a point because of all that personal development. If I were to get into another relationship and I were to get fucked over or things were to go bad, whatever, I'll never end up in that situation again.
I mean,
because I feel a certain type of way about myself. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. So there's never a reason for that to happen. If things were to break off, I'm good on my own. Exactly, I'm okay.
I mean,
but that wasn't the reality before.
The whole thing with that is like it's all reps, it's all experience. Like especially to some of the younger cats listening to this that might be, like 19, 20, 21 years old. Like you just got to experience things and you got to go through it and you got to deal with shit. Because it's like, dude, even like Colt, when he was in these relationships, I was right there telling him, like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you should be single.
Well,
I'll
tell you like this. Like, my dad was he was the main person in my ear. Dude, my dad. Like, he kept everything real with me, no matter what the situation was. And he would tell me all the same things that Eddie would tell me, but the one thing that he told me,
mad shit, bro. Like we were telling him the same thing. Like, but he had to.
But like one thing,
you had to learn.
Yeah,
Well, so that's like one thing that I will tell you, like now looking back, one of the biggest things that my dad told me that stands out now is he was explaining to me whatever he was explaining to me, about how, I'm so young, just all those types of things. But he straight up told me, he was like, look, he goes, I can sit here and talk your ear off all night and tell you what I think you should do and what's best for you to do. He was like, but at this point in your life, you're gonna do what you feel is
Yeah,
best for you, and you're gonna learn the way that life teaches. You're gonna learn the hard way, and life is
yeah,
gonna school you. And that's the
yeah.
reality of it. That's how we learn. That's how we grow.
Mhm.
That's one.
It's crazy, like like how much you could take away from situations like that. And it's like it's so funny to think like how hard it is to see that like while you're going through it. It's funny because like you see it now, but it's like damn, why couldn't I have like just like seen that in the moment? It's so crazy to think like in the moment it's so hard to see like the bigger picture. And it's so crazy because like there is a bigger picture to it because you've been through other experiences where like you like look back, okay, I know like with business, like something might happen in business and you realize like that shit, like that's so crazy, like how you guys like hired Alex Hermosi and fucking did all that shit. It's like the thing like you thought you were at such a low and it's like this is the worst, like I'm so low. And then think like if you wouldn't have got that low, it would have never pushed you to make that extreme. Like it,
Exactly.
that's what I forget. There's like a fucking like law, like a Murphy's law type of deal, where it's like you're better off. Like it's like you're better off instead of being even. You're better off either being super high or all the way down. Because if you're all the way down, it's going to force you to make choices to get better. Because if you stay in the middle, you're comfortable. So it's like that was like you
Yep.
stuff like that where you guys were like you went through that situation where it's like it seemed so bad in the moment, but it's like that literally was such a blessing that you guys got so low
Well,
because it
bro,
pushed
that's
you to make it take
amazing
action.
Yep.
because when you're at the bottom, that's literally probably the most advantageous place to be because you can't go down anymore.
Yeah.
You go up. Like even
But when
some
you're in the bottom, you feel like this is the worst of my life's over. This is horrible.
when
But
you
it's
see
crazy to think like, damn, like this is when you're actually making it out.
I mean,
when it
dude,
happens,
you know what the beautiful thing
resilient
about
to it. So when that happened, when we got that Alex Hermosi program, the thought process was like, dude, we've both been through shit so
Yeah.
many times. We've been disappointed and let down so many times
Mhm.
that it was a thing of like, I don't care. Like I'm
Yeah.
doing this. I will take the risk. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? I'm going to end up in the exact position I'm in
Yeah,
now.
literally, what's gonna
You know,
happen? Yeah. Already at the lowest. Yeah.
exactly?
What's the
that's it.
difference?
Well, bro, the funniest thing is, I mean, essentially, the beautiful thing about life is some of my best memories, some of our best memories were at the
Yeah.
bottom.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, you end up figuring shit out and getting in better situations, and it becomes a thing of like you start missing the times
Yeah,
when things were
exactly. Yeah.
fucked up. You wouldn't go
Yeah.
back to it. You wouldn't go back to it. You wouldn't choose to, obviously, but that's
Yeah.
growth. That's where you're growing in all the right ways, and you tend to miss that. And it's like you even said, just having a positive outlook on life generally, right? Like I'm at a point now because of the fact that we've went through so many different types of struggles, understanding that those are like key points for
Mhm.
growth. Even if it's hard, even if it's like some shit where it's like, for example, Biggie passing away, something that's fucked up, like a loved one passing away,
Yeah.
whatever the case is, if you can just understand that like that's one of the parts about life that's fucking ugly but beautiful at the same time, you can sit there and get out of it what you
Yeah.
need to get out of it. You'll understand that if I go about this correctly, a few years down the line, I'm going to be looking back on this, depending on the situation, maybe not saying, "Oh, I'm glad it
Yeah.
happened," because obviously, if it's a death, that's crazy. But you can at least look back on it and be like, you know what, this forced me to
Yeah,
learn
exactly.
this, and now I'll never be in this position
And
ever
that's
again.
actually funny because I
You
had a
know?
conversation with my boy about that because he was like, we were talking about like, because I'm like they call it like top toxic optimism. Like I'm like I always see the best in every situation, and it's like it's not the best for me because it does like because it's like I'll get fired from my job. I'm like, oh, this is fucking sick, dude. And then it's like I guess I'm gonna
Yeah,
find a better
yeah,
job. But it's a because it's like, I was like having a debate with my friend. I was like, I don't because he was like because like people always say like, do you have any regrets? And everyone the cliche thing is to say no because this is who I am. But it's like
yeah,
but it was like when I brought up a thing, it was like I have regret because like my older brother passed away, and like when he passed away, like we weren't in a good place because like he was addicted to drugs and stuff like that. And I was like, I regret like I didn't never like really like we passed on bad terms, and I was like I regret not saying anything to him. But my boy's like, well, what did you learn from that? And I was like, I guess like thinking back, like that made me think like, damn, like definitely like tell the people you love like that you love them. Like, I guess I can't
Yep.
really regret that because that did force me to learn that lesson. Like, tell your loved ones and the people you care about that you care about them and love them. So if I would have never went through that phase, like if I would never did that, I would have never learned that lesson. So it's like, damn, I really can't regret it because it did teach me such a bigger thing that now adds so much more value to my life and everyone else's life that I'm connected with. Because like I'll tell my mom I love her, or like my girlfriend and stuff like that. So it's like you just are just so like it's so crazy to think like even stuff you think is bad. It's like there is something that probably can be learned from the situation.
I mean,
Always.
it's honestly like
Always.
great that we're actually discussing these topics versus something about bodybuilding that
Yeah.
everybody's heard a million fucking
Yeah,
times.
that's why I didn't want to start a bodybuilding podcast because it's like everyone
Well,
knows everything about bodybuilding. There's only
well,
so
what
much
the fuck
advice you.
is
Well, dude, you know what's funny? Not to even get crazy off topic and go into the bodybuilding thing, but it's funny because when you're someone that comes from certain struggles and is going through different things and experience all different like lows and highs, you understand that like bodybuilding is such a
Yeah,
minuscule thing,
yeah,
right? Like a lot of these guys make it out to be like this crazy,
yeah,
hardcore, hard, difficult thing that you do. Bro, in my world, bodybuilding's
yeah.
fucking
it's
easy,
fun?
bro. Like
It's
I
fun to
love to
enjoy.
do this shit. Like, all right, like, dude, all right, I'm a little bit hungry
Yeah,
on prep, boo hoo, whatever. But it's
It's a
like
privilege.
it's interesting because like there's so much more that needs to be
mhm,
talked about that I feel like isn't
yeah,
talked about. And it's funny because it ties directly into this bodybuilding industry because it's all things that people kind of mask with
mhm.
bodybuilding. Like they'll use bodybuilding to kind of like you can use it
Oh,
as an
for sure.
outlet
Yeah,
essentially, which is great. But the way these people use it is
yeah.
not
Because like you
healthy.
could be like
You
be
know
in a
what I
depressed
mean?
mode, but it's like bodybuilding is so all consuming that it's like by making sure you're getting your steps in, your meals in. It's like the training, doing your posing. It's like if you want, you can get so wrapped up in that where you don't think about anything else because it's like it can be so all
Yeah.
consuming. So like if you are dealing with personal issues that you don't want to, it is very easy to just get into a prep, and it's like you don't have to think about anything because it's
Well,
like your brain is
a good
on so
example
structured. It's like you have no time to think.
a good example is, dude, like let's say like we'll have a client, for example, that is older, became very successful, whatever the case is, but they went through all kinds of
Yeah,
bullshit, like all these different struggles. They came from the absolute bottom. They made this, and this happen. And a lot of times they don't have like the fitness
yeah,
stuff figured out, right? You'll take somebody that's a bodybuilder that will essentially like judge that person and call
yeah,
them soft and like this and that because they can't
yeah,
do like what a bodybuilder does. But it's like, yo, my man, this guy's went through
yeah,
things that you couldn't even
yeah,
imagine. The hardest part of your day is getting yourself onto
yeah,
a treadmill and walking
yeah,
in the morning. Like you sit here and post about how like walking on a treadmill and eating your meals is the hardest thing in the world. You're gonna judge
yeah,
people that just can't do that. You don't know
right,
what this person's
yeah,
going through, right?
yeah,
Like, so I think it's an interesting thing. Like, I love bodybuilding in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways as well, it's very, very
yeah,
unhealthy,
And
even from a mental
my
standpoint.
honest hope for this episode, honestly, is like there's at least one person that sees this that's going through some shit that's just like, oh, like this is like normal, like
yeah.
people go through this,
Oh, 100%, yeah.
you know.
That's the biggest thing, like
Yeah,
what I think too, like because I think that's such a big point where it's like seeing the bigger picture. Like that's like a big takeaway. It's like I wish I knew that because it's like there's so many like just even weird stuff like little like even just little stuff on your day to day life that you don't even realize and pick up on that is like building character in your life and stuff like that. And it's like lessons for the future and shit like that. It's so crazy to think like just any little adversity where it's like you could take that stuff and make it better. And it's like everything's a choice. Like
yeah,
you could take everything, like look at everything as a positive. It's like everything could be a choice, and there's so many different perspectives to look at it. Because I've seen one where it was like a guy was talking about like if someone cuts you off in a car, it's real easy to get stressed out and like fuck that dude and give him the finger. But it's like it's only affecting you. Now your stress hormones are going up, your cortisol's going up, and it's
yep,
like in reality. Like you don't know what that dude's going through. Like that dude might have just stayed up all night because his daughter was sick in the hospital, and now he's rushing to get to work.
yeah,
No sleep. It might get fired if he's late, so he cut you off on accident, and you're getting mad. So it's like now you're taking like the perspective is like you're fucking yourself over because this dude's having a bad day. It's like there's an expression.
yeah,
It's like anger. Like anger is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. It's like
Yep,
you're the only
exactly.
person that feels that anger.
yeah,
Like so you're mad at me, but it's like I'm happy
yep,
go lucky. I'm living my life, but you're mad, and you're the one that's home mad. So it's like it's only facing you. So it's like why are you sitting there mad about something when it's like just you could easily just snap your fingers like bro I'm just gonna look at it differently, and I'm gonna choose to be happy about it.
yeah.
100%. I mean, dude,
Well,
I'm very much like anything bad that happens. Like, I'm not like, I wouldn't call myself like overly optimistic or anything like that, but I really, because I'm a very spiritual person. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm religious, but I believe in God. You know, I have my own relationship with God. Like, I always think about, all right, like, what is this teaching me? Like, what am I here to learn from this experience? Because it's not for no reason. Because if I don't, in my mind, if I don't look at it that way, and if I don't try to identify something that I can learn from that particular scenario, then I feel like I really am a victim of that scenario.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
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 You
It's
know,
like either let the world happen to you or happen to the
Well,
world.
exactly. That's perfect.
yeah.
That's the perfect word for it. That's the
I
perfect
mean,
term.
one thing I do want to say too, because this is something that I'm actually, again, now in the position I'm in, really glad it happened because I got to experience something that I just never had before. So anybody, like for the people that are going through some shit, whatever it is that are fucked up, just I like to stress how important it is to prioritize yourself in the sense of like, let's say like fitness, right? So during that point where I got mad out of shape and I was depressed, remember, like I said, like this is the first time I was out of shape in my adult years at all. So I was used to like, all right, when things go wrong, this happens, break up, whatever. At the end of the day, like I look insane, right? So it was like this certain thing in the back of my mind to where like it wouldn't let me get to a certain point of depression, right? But that point where things went wrong and I got into that state of depression again, but I also looked like
That's
shit. This was the first time. Well, this was the first time I ever felt
Fucking
that,
adding
right?
insult to injury,
So, what's the first? I mean, dude, what's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Like, you wake up, you go in the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you're looking at yourself, right? If you're if you're not confident in yourself at all, if you essentially hate yourself, you hate how you look, all the other problems that you're dealing with throughout your just in your day-to-day life are going to be a million times worse because you're starting your day off just hating yourself. So now right when you walk out the front door, it's like everything's just stacking on top of that, right? So it's like even we've done this with clients, like going through X, Y, and Z, breakup, divorce, something at work, whatever the case is. Once they actually prioritize the right things and start making the steps in the right direction and getting in shape, it all starts to shift because it turns into now they're waking up in the morning confident in how they look, confident in the actions that they're taking to look how they look. And that sets the standard for the whole
I mean,
day. So now they're walking out of the door. They're walking out of the door instead of hating themselves. They love how they look. They're fully confident in themselves. So they just tackle
I
life
mean, bro,
differently.
forget even like love how they look, because a lot of people are further from love how they look than they are closer to I hate how I look. But I mean, dude, like, you know how it is. You go train, you literally release hormones that make you feel better. Like, it's
Yes.
biologically impossible to go work out feeling like shit mentally and not walk out feeling just a little bit better.
Yeah, and even for the people but I'm saying like that's another one for people getting in shape. It's like them small daily wins, like that builds up. Like you said, like the negative stack up, but the positive also stack up so much too. Where it's like you wake up and drink water right off the bat. It's like okay, that's already one thing you accomplished. Like, oh, I got my because for some people like that's so easy for us. Like I drank 2 gallons of water. It's not like I don't think that is a daily win, but like I know like my dad when he started getting in shape, like he couldn't drink water. Like he was like I would like have to fight him to drink water. So like him drinking, making like that was like a daily win every day. I got up and drank my water. So it's like you start off with something like that. You start off with drinking water or a 10-minute walk around the block. It's like you start stacking them little daily goals like that, or it's like write down like people like the journal. It's like write down 5 things you're grateful for every day. It's like you start stacking positive things. It works the same way. But it's
Yeah,
like that you have
absolutely.
to keep yourself on that positive trajectory because it's so easy to fall into the negative stuff. Like you wake up, you don't like how you look. It's like fuck, I hate that. I hate like look like this. Then it's like you walk outside, it's cold and fucking cloudy. It's like, fuck, I hate this fucking weather. Then it's like you get
Yep.
the job, I hate it. Instead of like, oh, good shit, dude, I drank my water today. Good shit, I fucking walked my 10 minutes. I ate my healthy breakfast like I was supposed to. I took my vitamins. So just shit like that. It's like,
It's a domino
But see,
effect.
emphasizing that type of stuff is also why, like I actually was having this conversation with somebody too. This type of stuff is why, like, everybody's scared of AI taking over
yeah,
jobs, industries, and stuff. This is why there's no time soon that AI is going to take over anything in regard to like fitness coaching
yeah,
or life coaching or whatever. 'Cause it's like, yeah, the shit could write you out all the exact things, how much water to
yeah,
drink, what to eat, and whatever. How the quality and accuracy of that stuff is questionable, I
yeah,
guess. I've never really tried to do that, but that factor of like those small wins and like giving
Yeah.
that perspective to somebody, that's something AI could never do.
Oh yeah.
So
And
it's
I feel like
That
yeah,
human
so the human interaction
interaction.
just in general, because I was saying like about you guys with your friendship, it's like the friendship aspect of life is like if you like it's so hard to explain because like I feel like some people like nowadays like you see all like that stoic shit. Not that it's shit, I like the stoicism too, but it's like everyone wants to be that loner, but it's like you don't realize like even some of that like having friends. It's like because when you're lonely and some of that, it's like you add on loneliness and you don't have anyone to talk to every day. On top of you wake up hating yourself, it's cloudy, you hate your job, so that then you add in you have no one to talk to. But it's like if you have friends with like minded, because everyone has friends, like not everyone has friends, but I'm saying like everyone has people out there in this world. Like you could be into the craziest stuff in the world. There's people out there that are into that crazy ass shit too. It's like you could be into like the
yeah.
most niche thing in the world. It's like there's a community out there somewhere that's what they like to do too. So it's like, and I feel like a lot of people like try to fit in. Like I love this is what I'm huge on this. I actually just talked about this today with my friend. It's like such an important thing to like with friendship and stuff like that. It's like to be your true self because like if you aren't being truly who you are, then you aren't going to attract genuine people who are also have them same
Yeah.
interests. Like if you like say like you are into like weird nerdy stuff that people think is gay, it's like okay, but if you like I'm a football kind of guy, and you tell people I watch football on the weekends, then you're going to attract people who watch football, not the people who are into that weird nerdy stuff that you're into. But it's like if you're openly genuine about who you are, it's like yo, this is who I am. I like fucking read comic books all night and
Yo, Ryan, let me get you in trouble, bro. What would you describe as that weird, nerdy, gay
I mean,
stuff?
me personally, I think anime is a little bit crazy. I know anime is, but I mean,
What?
my older brother was like a nerd, so like he
Yeah,
liked
well,
it.
what do you mean by gay when you say
Yeah,
that?
so, you know what I mean. I would consider like anime stuff. Like for me, that
What do
but
you
I always thought
mean?
like that stuff was kind of crazy. The anime, but I'm saying like that's like what I. But there's people out there that have any like. I mean, there's people who dress up as furries and fucking think that's
I mean,
normal. So I'm saying,
yeah,
like
dude.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
motherfuckers that dress up as fucking knights in armor and
yeah,
go fight with foam swords and shit. And
I'm
then,
saying, like, but I'm saying, like, if you are embarrassed about that, because that's what I'm saying. Like, I have no problem. You could be anyone you want. I don't judge anyone on anyone. I
100%.
What I'm saying, if
Just be
you are
true about it.
embarrassed,
Be true about
if you're not
yourself.
being your true genuine self, and you are into furries, but like you're doing it on the low, and it's like, well, okay, well, you're gonna feel lonely because you're not letting people, you're not putting out who you truly are.
You're not
I mean,
gonna find
Making
those
fun of
people.
people.
Yeah.
we as humans are tribe animals. We're
Yeah.
not meant to be alone. So it's like, honestly, in my opinion, dude, like I'm all about stoicism, but I think stoicism is certain scenarios. Like, all
Yeah.
right, some bad shit happens and you're the man of the house and your whole family's looking to you to like be
Yeah.
that support pillar. That's where stoicism comes in.
Yeah.
But stoicism isn't fucking posting about it on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's not
Or
stoicism.
being a complete loner and shutting yourself out from other opportunities of friendships that are like you guys. Like, imagine if you were like, oh, I'm a loner. Like, I don't need a business partner. I can do this coaching
That's
Well,
myself.
fucking
so
nonsense. Yeah.
to yeah, to add to that, because you even talked about this way earlier in the podcast, like just being a loner, the stoicism thing, like it's so important to actually find the right
Mhm.
friendship. Like you could, have somebody that, let's say, they just are getting fucked over by
Mhm.
all kinds of people. Like they're not experiencing
Mhm.
good people, right? You know, I could put myself in the
Mhm.
in that boat in certain situations, right? So I could have sat there and just kept that
Yeah.
mindset and just
Shut the
been
world
like,
out.
"Fuck everyone, let me stay on my own." But if that's the route I would have went, then I wouldn't have moved
Exactly.
to New York. Me and Eddie wouldn't have established the relationship we had. So it's like you kind of just in life have to be okay with the fact that for every 10 people that you meet and get cool with, only one of them are actually going to
Mhm.
be genuine. And if nine of them do you dirty, it is what it is. But that's life. But to sit here and just like say, I don't want to deal with that, I'm going to shut myself out
Mhm.
completely, that's where you're going to find yourself, in a
Yeah.
shitty
And
position
that's
in a
adding
certain
on to
amount
the
of
other
time.
stuff when you're dealing with adding on to the job you hate, then you don't like the way you look, then you
Yeah.
add on to that. It's like it just
Absolutely.
dominoes.
I mean, dude, it's the same thing as like relationships, for example. It's like I
Mhm.
could sit here and say like, all right, well, the relationships that I've experienced didn't go well at all, so I'm just never gonna try it again because fuck
Yeah.
all women, right? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that'd be
Uh-huh.
wild to say. I'm in a position where I'm like, I understand that I'm young and I need to prioritize myself, and I don't. It'd be selfish of me to be in
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
relationship because of what I need to put into
Mhm.
myself. But to sit here and just blame women and just be like, they're all fucked
Yeah.
up, like they're all gonna do me dirty. That's insane. And it's the same way as if had friends that did you dirty, or you're one of these people that just want to act like you don't need anybody. That's never
Yeah.
the case. Like you're never meant to just be single on your own,
That's not a
just no
real.
friends, no
That's not
nothing.
like a real thing. Like I'm saying, like humans, like we're meant to be in a tribe. We're not meant. We're meant to be in groups. Like we're not meant to be these solitary nomad fucking people. Like it's just not how our biology is set
Yeah.
up. So, of course, yeah, if you're isolated and you're not talking to anybody and you want to go,
I mean, not for nothing. That's also a one-way ticket to like that's a one-way ticket to failure in whatever you're trying to
that's all
chase. You
failure. But
know?
like, even if you make it there, like you'll definitely be fucking depressed because you got nobody to share it with.
Yeah.
You got no.
Well, I mean, dude, let's look at all the people that, we probably follow and look up to, like the Alex
Mhm.
Hormozis or whoever it might be, right? Most of these people had some sort of
Yeah.
team, whether it was one other
Mhm.
person, three other people, they had some sort of team of
Yeah.
like-minded
Definitely.
people, right? You take Alex Hormozy. He was lucky enough to have found that in
Yeah.
his wife. Like he has
Yeah.
Layla Hormozy, who's like the female
Right.
version
Right.
of him when it comes to just business
Yeah.
mindset and whatever. But like he only found that because he was so open and public about the fact that like, yo, I'm a
Yeah.
weirdo. All I care
Yeah.
about is working. Nothing else matters to me. Everyone judges me for it. And he found someone that was
Yeah.
exactly like that. And they built a serious, legitimate
Exactly.
empire together,
It's funny.
right? So it's the same idea. Well, you look at, for example, look at like the Tates,
Yeah.
like Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate. Whether you love them or hate them, agree with them, disagree with them, they
Yeah.
had each other, and they were able to build something
Exactly.
crazy. Because they're the exact. And now, if you look, they've gotten to even higher levels because they have people surrounding them as well. They have a group of like whatever it is. I don't know the other
Yeah.
guys, but 5, 6 dudes that all have the same mindset, the same values, and everything, and they just continue to level
Mhm.
up and level up. So you could reach a certain point of success on your own, and you might be able to maintain it and stay there. But to continue climbing, like you need a team. You need
Yeah.
like-minded
Dude,
people. It's the only way it's
trips are
going to
so
happen.
important, man. Like the people that you know and the people that you interact with. And I mean, this is one of my favorite sayings, but the people that you talk to for no reason. So you're only going to be successful as the people that you talk to for no fucking reason.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Is pretty much the
Mhm.
yeah. So I mean, dude, yeah, like you surround yourself with like minded people, you're probably going to elevate to be
Yeah.
like that. You surround yourself.
You know what it is, dude? Like you just like you gotta be
Yeah.
bold, Like you gotta like fully understand like essentially who or what it is that you're trying to be. Like in my case, for example, like I knew that my aspirations and what I was trying to do almost didn't exist in
Yeah.
our area back
Yeah.
in PA. Like most people there, they're 50 years old drinking in the same bars they were drinking in when
Really.
they were 15 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They never leave that area. The highlight of their life is like going to the
Yeah.
Jersey Shore for a
Yeah.
weekend twice during the summer, right? So just from consuming content and just these other people, I kind of understood that like, yo, I'm a product of who
Mhm.
I'm around. And it's like I've gotten to a certain point, but it's like I can't push
Yeah.
past it. So I surrounded myself with people that
Yeah.
serious people that to me at the time I was like a
Yeah.
fucking peasant. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
uncomfortable to do. A lot of people
You don't
don't
want
want
to.
to do that.
Everyone wants
A
to be the
lot of
big fish in the
people,
small pond.
Exactly.
of course, but it's like you got to be
Yeah.
bold enough to know exactly what it is you want and position yourself accordingly. And a lot of people
Oh yeah,
don't want to
because
do
it's
that.
uncomfortable.
You
It's like
know?
everyone has the ego. It's like you're so comfortable in your little neighborhood. You're a big dog on campus. It's like I don't want to go somewhere where I'm a
Yeah.
nobody and like these dudes are fucking big dicking me. It's like
Well, bro, I'll tell you like this. Like even in my case, right? Like with the way bodybuilding has went and the way the fitness industry has boomed, a lot of people in our area, like younger
mhm,
guys, if they were in the position I was in, where it was like essentially one of the best bodybuilders in the area at a very young age, started a business, start doing a little bit well, decent with social media, whatever. A lot of people in an area like that are going to stay there because they want to
yeah,
stay at the
oh yeah,
top of
exactly,
something. They want to feel superior. For me, it was a thing of like, I was depressed as fuck because I was like, I didn't
yeah,
relate to anybody. Like nothing made sense to me, and everything everybody did, hanging out in these little dive bars. Like, but when I would talk to people, I was
yeah,
the
literally,
crazy one. Like what I was trying to do didn't
yeah.
make sense to
Like why would
anybody.
you want to? Why
So
would
I
you want
said,
to?
you
Why
know
would you
what? Let
want
me go put.
to? Why
Let
would you
me.
want more?
Well, because people are like, yo, you're
Yeah,
already like the
yeah,
best here. Basically, it's like, yeah, and that's
yeah,
a
exactly.
problem. Like I'm 20 years old. Like that's a
It's
fucking
always
problem.
that.
Like, dude, so it's a thing of like, yeah, I put myself in a position to where it's like now I'm a fucking
Yeah,
bum. I'm a loser to
yeah,
these people. How do I fucking
mhm,
fix that? Right? Like how do I
yeah,
get to these next
Well,
levels?
it
And
was the same thing leaving New York, bro. Like everybody was telling us, like, "Yo, what are you going to Arizona for? It's the fucking desert. There's nothing there. This, that, and the third. Oh, you'll be back. Oh, this, that." Bro, meanwhile, we
yeah.
fucking get out here and they're more advanced than New York is. Motherfuckers got self-driving cars.
yeah.
You ever heard of this?
What is it?
A Waymo? You ever heard of
Yeah, I've
this?
heard of them. Yeah, yeah. I've seen them on like
Oh,
Instagram shit.
I fucking have never seen one before. So we were at a light, not to go too much off topic, but when we first got to Arizona, like we were pulling up to our complex, we're at a light, and we see this car, like this Jaguar, this little SUV.
Well, yo, it had this thing on the top, like the sensor or whatever, like on the
Shit
top that
all over it. It's
spins.
like crazy looking. So we're looking at this thing and we're like, the fuck is that? Like, is that some kind of cop? Like, what is this? So we pull up next to it, bro. There's nobody driving.
There's
Dude,
nobody in it.
we were
Me, mind you, we're going like 50 or 60 down the fucking little freeway, bro. I look out the window. There's just no one in. At first, I
Yeah,
bugged out a little bit, bro. I
am
was
I
like, "What the
dreaming?
fuck?" I was like, "What is this?" You know what I mean? It's crazy, dude. But it's like in a lot of ways, dude. Arizona, like especially tech wise, like it's more advanced
But
than
this
any
is
place that
my
I've seen on
point,
the East
right? Like
Coast.
everybody back in New York was telling us kind of like that we're crazy for selling the gym and coming
Mhm.
here and whatever. And I think it's the best decision we could have fucking made. And like, dude, you're out here, and they have, like people have no idea what Arizona really is.
That's
Like,
crazy. Yeah,
like if you want nightlife, like you have that. You want nature, you have that. Like you want low cost of living, you have that.
mhm,
Like we,
I mean, dude, I'll tell you like this. We're about to join up at this new gym that just opened up, right? It's up like in like North
mhm.
Scottsdale. Dude, like again, like I like to be in environments
Oh
where I'm pushed. I like to be motivated. Bro, we walked in this gym and like obviously 9 out of 10 gyms that we go to, we're gonna have some of the best
yeah,
physiques there. So in that sense, it's like unless we're training in gyms with like high level
yeah,
national guys or pros, there's not
yeah,
many guys better than us in that sense. But dude, we walked in this gym and like, bro, the minimum membership here is like
mhm,
$150 a month, right? But I'm in there and it's like I'm looking around and I'm just looking at the guys around me training. They all look good, number one. Like obviously
yeah,
not bodybuilders, but they're all in sick shape. And I'm looking at them, and you can just tell that these dudes are
yeah,
like serious, like millions on millions of dollars, and not even in the sense of like they're wearing jewelry or anything of that nature. You can just tell that these are like
yeah,
serious, successful individuals. And being in that
yeah.
environment, dude, it's like that shit is like that lights a
Oh my god, yeah,
fire under my ass, dude. So
yeah,
it's like in New York, it's an interesting thing, dude. It's like in New York, you have a bunch of that, but it's
yeah,
fake.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of
for sure.
just a lot of
like hood
flexing,
Yeah,
bro.
rich.
A lot of
Yeah,
flexing. Like
dude.
not for nothing to me, I love being around people that are like substantially more successful than I am because what I've noticed is a lot of times, I mean, you have your outliers, but a lot of times those very like I'm talking about people that make millions and millions of dollars, not in assets but like liquid.
yeah.
Those people are actually more than willing to
Oh yeah,
give you all kinds of advice, especially if you're a younger guy.
mhm,
Like
Yeah.
you could pick their brain about anything. They will fucking help you out.
mhm.
But it's like they're not just gonna appear in front of you and just be
Yeah,
like, "Hey,
yeah,
dude,
yeah,
let me help you out." Like you have to
yeah,
ask more questions. You have to know what you're doing. Like
mhm,
you have to give them a reason to want to help you. But if you go that route and you put yourself in those places and you interact with these people, you'll find that like fucking yeah, like they want to just help because
yeah,
they got it. They,
yeah,
they're
exactly. Yeah.
they're done. So now they just want to give back, and I could understand that perspective because
Mhm.
like I've
That's
been
what
there.
your whole job is. Like you guys literally like know fitness, and you want to give back, and you get fulfilled by seeing them people like take the knowledge you gave them and be successful with it. So if
Exactly.
someone gives you a business advice, they're like, "Oh, that's sick! I helped this fucking young 26-year-old dude fucking just step up his business game
Well,
tenfold just by some knowledge I had."
it's
Yeah, yeah,
it's an interesting cycle, dude. It's a very interesting cycle because I can envision myself 30
Yeah,
years from now in my 40s and my 50s to where like if there was a kid that a younger guy, teenager, early 20s that I saw was legitimately trying to do the right things and was looking for advice, guidance, at that point at that stage, if I'm like a
Yeah,
millionaire and doing all like I'd be so
yeah, yeah,
encouraged to help this kid because all I would think about is my younger self in that point in my life
yeah,
trying to make it all happen, wishing that
yeah,
somebody who already did it would
yeah,
help me in
exactly.
some kind of way, right? So it's like that's usually how it goes. So usually the younger guy that even has the nuts to approach the right types of people and ask the right questions and look for the right guidance, those people are going to respect that and give it to you because they know exactly what
Yeah,
position you're in.
exactly.
Like they lived it, and they don't want anybody else to have to
Yeah,
go through it. You know
Nowadays,
what
the
I mean?
bar I feel like is so low, especially like if you're a younger dude. Like guys our age. I mean, the whole thing of even something as simple of like having a firm handshake and just looking somebody in the eye when you talk to them, and just
That's dead. That's
it's not
dead.
a thing. Like a lot of grown men, like I'll shake their hand and it's like a fucking wet paper towel,
mhm,
bro. It's you know what I mean. So it's just even little ass things like that will get you so much further ahead with like a high status type of
yeah,
person because they don't run into that a lot.
yeah, exactly. And we said it's so easy to fall in that trap. Like Cole, when you said like how you said like when you got thrown into the wolves and like when you moved to New York, you had to talk to other people and stuff like that. It's like that's such a big thing. It's now like you learn that and you can take that forward now too. So it's like it's so easy to just fall in the trap of just like staying yourself and not like putting yourself in uncomfortable on like hard situations because it's like no one like it's hard to be like a people like not everyone is a people person. So if you're not a like a natural people person, it is hard to like to develop that. And it's like it definitely is not.
I mean, dude, I can speak on that firsthand because like when I first moved there, like most people don't even know this about me because of the fact that I like always looked really good and like my social media kind of grew very young. Like, bro, I was a very like shy person. Like I
I'm
wasn't good
telling
at
you,
like
like
speaking to
Yeah,
people.
we would be anywhere. Like it was unless like you spoke directly, like someone spoke directly to Colt, like he wouldn't be talking about nothing. Like he would be like,
But I'll tell you why, dude. The biggest reason is because like I never felt
yeah,
understood. I always felt like I was crazy or fucking nuts because people didn't relate to the things that I was like saying or trying to
it
talk
was
about. Like I was the
the whole
outcast
time,
because I
bro.
was so much
You
different from my
you have to
environment.
have an eye for these types of things because the whole time, and like obviously it doesn't develop over a couple months, like it takes time. So
yeah,
like I would have people that were around me for like forever, just telling me like, like I like why are you like why are you doing all this? Like why are you working with Colt? Because I already had my business
yeah,
before Colt moved there, so it's like why are you doing this? Like why are you doing that? And like they just couldn't see the potential of what he would
yeah,
become eventually, but I knew, you know
mhm,
what I mean, because I went through that process
yeah,
myself. Because I'm not a naturally extroverted person.
yeah,
Like I don't necessarily like love fucking interacting with people all
mhm,
day, but through developing those communication skills and really understanding how to interact with somebody, how to shut the fuck up and like listen and like,
yeah,
and just really like listen
Well,
to what the
yo,
person's saying.
let, to to add
Start,
on to this,
start to
so like
interacting with people,
even in the sense of putting yourself in like the uncomfortable situations, like you're saying, like not everyone's extroverted. Like, dude, before I actually moved to New York, Eddie and his mom went to Ukraine for like 2.5 weeks to get their
mhm,
teeth done,
I was
right?
making good money.
So they were
Summer, I
in
bought a
Ukraine.
Rolex, got my
Yeah,
teeth done, my mom's teeth
mhm.
done. Like I was doing
Oh,
real.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
eyes there.
I was balling out, but like stupid as fuck. Like I
Mhm,
spent a lot of money. I should
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. Also,
But so they were in Ukraine for 2.5 weeks, and I basically stayed at his place, and like I trained, like I ran the gym, I trained all his clients for the 2.5 weeks he was gone, and dude, like I'll tell you straight up, like I'd be going into these sessions like because I had never worked with
yeah,
people in person. Like obviously I knew how to train, like I knew what I was doing, but like, dude, I'd be going into these training sessions like fucking
yeah,
shaking, bro, like
yeah,
terrified, off the simple fact of like just trying to engage with people. And it was also a thing of like who I was
yeah,
engaging with, like high
yeah,
status type
exactly.
clients. Like I'll never forget, bro, the very first session in that point where he was in Ukraine, it was with it was with Ruben's wife. So this guy Ruben, who's like a fucking multi
shout out to
millionaire, and it was
My
a
dog.
yeah, shout out to Ruben. But it was with his wife, right? And they live in Miami and whatever. So, bro, I remember training her, and it's like, dude, you're one on one with the
Yeah,
person
you
for
have
an
yeah.
hour, so it's like
You can't just be like, I mean,
it's not all
yeah,
just like it's not all just like here's how to do it. Let me
yeah,
count your reps. Like you're
yeah,
talking to
exactly.
these people for an hour. So, dude, I'm having conversations with this woman. It's like, dude, she's speaking to me about things that I don't even know what the fuck she's talking. I don't know what it exists. I don't know what she's
Yeah,
talking about. Different foods, different types of parties, all these different
yeah,
countries. I'm standing there. It's like I've been to fucking
yeah.
PA and like
I don't
Jersey,
know.
and like I'm trying to engage. But point the point being, dude, is like most people will
Oh yeah,
run far away from those situations because of like I felt
oh
so
yeah,
uncomfortable, bro, but I just forced myself
yeah,
to do it, and in due time, it just became
definitely.
natural. And I'm talking to all these people, and I started accumulating
Yeah,
clients, and all my clients love me. And then it became a thing of like I'm changing these people's lives, and like leaving New York is
yeah,
really what made me aware of it, of like how much of an impact I had on grown
yeah,
adults' lives. People that, like for example, I had a client who was an ER doctor. Shout out Simona, but she I mean, dude, she was an ER doctor. She's in the hospital saving people, and it's like I was such like a big part of her day. Not even just the
mm,
workout, but the hour interaction that we
yeah,
even had together as like an outlet, right? But it's like if I wasn't in those uncomfortable situations to get to that point, I would have never been able to be the person that could be that for these
exactly.
people. You know what I mean? So it's like you look back on all these
Mm.
things and you connect
Yeah,
the
to connect
fucking
the dots.
dots and it
Like,
all
yeah,
makes sense.
it's crazy that when you connect the dots back, and it's so funny thing, and it's just like such a life skill to be able to communicate with people and stuff like that. It's like just for everyday people. It's just like
100%.
I feel like nowadays, like with like social media and stuff like that, it's so easy. Like you see, like I mean, you hear it all the time. Like these like social media stars are like they're like say like, oh bro, like growing up, I was a loser. Like I had no fucking friends. Like the reason I blew up on social media is because I
Yeah.
literally had no friends and all I did was make content because I had no one to be with. So it's like damn,
Yep.
that's crazy. Like a lot of people don't have actual social skills because it's like the people who, like they look up to. It's like you look up the social media stars and stuff like that. It's like the reason they're famous is because they could live online. Like they didn't live in real life. Like they didn't have friends and
Yeah.
socialize. They lived online because they didn't know how to socialize. So it's like
Well, bro, we live in a world now where you're not going to be in real social situations unless
yeah,
you
little
choose
yeah,
to be. Everything can be
yeah,
through a
I
screen
mean,
now. Dating, talking
people
to
in real life.
girls. Bro, I seen some statistic. It was like, dude, it was like 1 out of 10 men up
Yeah,
from like 18 to
ever
30 or
asked.
whatever have actually asked a woman
Yeah,
out
it's
in
crazy.
person.
I mean, bro, a lot
That's a
of these
crazy thing,
social
dude.
media influencer guys. I mean, dude, you meet them in person and they're fucking like weird.
That's what they say,
Like,
yeah, because like we say, because like you see their online persona, but then 'cause that's what they say about like celebrities too. Like if you look at like Hollywood actors, it's like bro, they were like the nerds, like the drama queens and stuff like that in high school. Like they weren't the
art
cool
kid,
social kids in high school. Like they were the kids that like were like in fucking chorus and like
yeah,
Well,
opera.
yeah, yeah.
yo,
The art kids, yeah,
bro,
definitely.
I love that you said that
That's
actually
it.
because, bro, as a matter of fact, like, remember, like I said, bro, when I was in high school, like, I was a fucking
Yeah,
weirdo. Like, I wasn't like it wasn't like this thing of like, oh, I'm
yeah,
jacked,
no,
so I'm like the most like popular kid, however you want to call it. Like, bro, I didn't have
yeah,
friends in high school. All of my friends were outside of
mm,
school. They were guys in the gym. Like, I was like just a weirdo for doing what I was doing, right? But it's funny how the shit works because now, as the years went on, you look at like because fitness is now a
yeah,
trend and everybody's
yeah,
doing it and everyone wants to be an influencer. Now it's the complete opposite. So now, if you look at high schools and you see a kid that's in high school that's jacked, he's like the
yeah,
star of the fucking
yeah,
It's,
school.
oh,
You know
I
what I
remember
mean?
literally being 230 pounds my senior year of high school. And like, bro, everybody knew who I was. Like, but for not for bodybuilding, but bodybuilding was just some shit I did. Like nobody really
yeah,
cared. Like, yeah, it was crazy that I was like 230.
No one
yeah,
understood it,
Nobody,
bro. Nobody
like, I'd
understood
be in
it
the
at
hallways
all.
eating my cold fucking chicken and rice out of the Tupperware, and it was like, yeah,
But
it's just some shit Eddie does. Now it's like a crazy sensational, like you're
well,
jacked, you're
it's funny how things work when you just like stay
yeah,
true to what you're
yeah,
passionate about. Because, for example, like the guys you're talking about, like let's think about it from a realistic standpoint. Most guys that become actors, like the Mark Wahlbergs, like The Rock, people of that nature, who are they in high school? They're the guys in
Yeah,
drama
yeah,
class being in
Nah,
the plays. They're the people in high school. They're like,
like
yeah. The
the
Rock
Rock,
is football, but
the
the
Rock
Rock
is
huh?
is football. Most
Well,
people, I know
whatever.
most people. Yeah,
yeah, but
You
yeah,
get what I
bad
mean, bro. Like
example.
most actors,
yeah,
you get what I mean though.
Uh,
Most actors, bro, like they're the kid that's in drama class in high
yeah,
school. They're doing the plays. They're fucking Peter Pan,
yeah, exactly.
whatever the case is, because that's how
Yeah,
you start. That's how you
yeah,
work your way. That's what acting is. But it's like as they become into their get into their adult life and become something, and they're
yeah,
in movies and whatever. Now they're the
yeah, exactly,
coolest guy in the
exactly.
world.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So it's interesting how that shit works. But
exactly.
yeah, it's a crazy
even this
concept, dude.
podcast, man, like it's a brand new endeavor,
Yeah,
obviously, and it's like nobody cares until they do. You
yeah,
know what I
exactly. Yeah,
mean?
Bro, as a matter of fact, bro, even in high school, like motherfuckers didn't start like respecting me for what I was doing until my
yeah.
Instagram
Oh
started
yeah, I
growing.
believe it.
I remember when my Instagram, bro, I remember at like 17 when it went from like 3,000 followers to like 12,000. Bro, the
Oh
way
my god,
people were just on my
imagine.
dick. Bro, I'm talking like, bro, my life became like a constant thing of like, yo, do you think like I forget like things
Yeah,
you said about me or the way you treated me like a year ago? And bro, it's like such a stupid concept. The fact is just some people
yeah,
follow me on
it's crazy.
Instagram. Now everyone's like, oh, what you do is
Yeah,
so cool and like this and that and whatever. It's a very interesting thing, but that's why it's like just staying on course with what you're passionate about. It's like if it makes sense to you, it'll make
yeah,
sense in the
exactly.
end, you
Yo,
know? Because it could have been a thing of like, all right, in high school, it could have been a thing of like, everyone's making fun of me for this shit. Like, I'm getting on stage in like a thong, I'm posing, I'm like flexing on Instagram. I could have just said fuck all of
Yeah,
it and just, went and played football and been a beast on the football field, and I would have
yeah,
been mega cool and everyone would have fucked with me. But what would I have been after I
exactly.
graduated? Some dude that played
Yeah,
football in
literally.
high school? Like, I stayed on top of what I fucking loved, which was just training and bodybuilding. And now I'm actually able to make a
Mhm.
career out of it. You know what I mean? And I can only continue to grow with it. And that wouldn't have happened if I would have let people
Exactly.
just skew my mindset towards it, you
yo,
know?
Ryan, you got any shows coming up this season or what?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just about to be done my off season right now, so I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'll probably do a show probably in August, September, probably.
I mean,
I don't
so
know. Yeah,
so prep fucking starts pretty
yeah,
soon, man.
it's probably like a month or two. If I'll probably decide what I want to do.
Yeah, because we're like 12 weeks out, and on April 1st.
You guys are going out to Texas, right?
Yeah, but we're gonna do like an NPC show. But like,
Well, here's the way I look
what are
at
you
it,
looking
right?
at your
The way
competitive season? Are you looking to go to nationals and shit?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay, I mean, see, like our shit is this, right? Like, I would do nationals because the thing we're at a point where like local shows, like to qualify for nationals, is a
Mhm.
fucking breeze. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
it's easy,
Yeah.
but
Definitely. I mean, I'm a super heavyweight. There's literally like most shows. There's like one dude and then super heavyweight. So it's like
that's the
it's
one
like
fucking thing.
yeah,
Mashed
I mean,
potatoes.
local shows are no fun for you, bro.
yeah.
Because
It's like there's literally no one even in the class.
you
Yeah.
gotta show
Well,
up.
bro, I'll tell you like this, like as far as us, like we're gonna do these summer shredding shows. The first one, the qualifier one, class winners get like 1,000 or
Mhm.
some shit. And then the championship one, let's say they're paying out 10 grand like they did
Yeah,
in 2023. Let's say I win classic, he wins open, we walk out of
yeah,
there with 20 grand. I'm gonna look at it like this, bro. It's gonna be a thing of like if I look at myself and it's like, you know what, I look insane, I could go in and get my pro card like that, then I'm gonna do it. But if I'm looking at myself and it's like maybe I'll squeeze
yeah,
into the top five,
yeah,
whatever the case is, then I'm not going to waste my
yeah,
time do it. We're going to
yeah,
take that 20 grand and we're going to go
yeah.
travel and we're going to
Oh,
enjoy
Ryan,
exactly.
life. Because why am I going to
Yeah,
waste my time, bro? There's no difference between third place and
literally.
50th place.
what's
You walk out of there
what's
with
your
nothing,
opinion on
you know?
like pro cards these days? Like, is that your goal? Like, do you want to go pro or is it?
I mean, I really don't. I just love. I honestly just love the train. I just love the bodybuilding lifestyle. I
Yeah,
really don't even have like if you said like do you like is turning pro a goal of yours? Not even really. Like
yeah,
yeah, I want to be a pro bodybuilder, but it's not like something where I'm like I need to be a pro. Like I just love to train. I love to compete. Like I just love I love the whole process of it, and like that is like the trajectory. It's like you compete, you go to the next competition, you go to the next level, you go to the next level. So that's just what the trajectory is. It's not like there's not something like it doesn't keep me up at night. Like I need to be a pro. I just love to train. I love to eat.
yeah.
I love to fucking push the
I'm
body.
Yeah.
So
just
it's like
curious about it because I mean, dude, I feel like nowadays, like these pro cards are so
yeah,
fucking watered down.
yeah,
Because I always say, Dude, bodybuilding on a computing level could go away tomorrow. I'll still be doing shit.
Oh yeah, like I said, I didn't even have I've been training for like 15 years. I didn't even have Instagram for like the first like 10 years of training. Like I didn't even have Instagram. Like I didn't even I didn't post. I didn't have Instagram. I literally just ate cold chicken rice 6 times a day. Would train 5 days a week, and I just did it because I loved it. I just love the environment of the gym. I love being. I'm a social person. I love to be around people. I love to talk and shit like that. So it's like I don't drink. I never drank. I never did drugs. So it's like because I got into the gym when I was young. Like when I was like 17, I was like put away in a juvenile placement, and the only place I was allowed to go when I got out was the gym. So I would literally go. Like I would get off school, and I wasn't allowed to go anywhere else. So I literally would have to go to the gym. So I went to like the YMCA, and I would just go there for like 10 hours a day. Like I would just go swimming. I'd go to the sauna. I'd go walk on the treadmill. I would do an hour of abs because it was the only place I was allowed to go. Then but I wasn't really like into bodybuilding. I just loved to be in the gym. Yeah. And like then I just started like slowly like progress because there wasn't really Instagram back then either. Like there wasn't like a big thing. Like there was no social media, and like YouTube really wasn't even big. And if it was like Bradley, what's his name? Bradley Martin. Bradley Martin was like a big YouTuber. It wasn't like now like where like it wasn't like super educational guys and like there was coaches, but it was like Olympia coaches. They weren't like coaching local dudes or shit like that. Or they did. I didn't know anything about it because I didn't have Instagram. Right. So I just loved the training, and I just like slowly just kept the trajectory just kept getting more and more into it. And then like it's funny too, like you meet more and more people, and it's like it's so funny. Like when you said like the environment, like I trained at like a local YMCA, so like there was like nobody there. There was no bodybuilders there, so it was like I wasn't into bodybuilding. Then I got into like trained at another gym, and I met a bodybuilder. I'm like, oh shit, this is fucking sick. So then I got into that, but it's like, and then like I thought I trained hard, and then I met a dude who trained hard. I was like, holy fuck, this is what training hard feels like. And it's so funny because I love that now because like when I meet younger guys at the gym, like I love to like help people like with their workouts. Like it's fun. People make fun of me at the gym. They're like, you're like the mayor because like everyone's like, yo Ryan, can I get a spot? Yo Ryan, can I get a spot? Because like I don't mind because I love it.
Nah, yo, this guy talks to everybody, I love to help people. Like this guy's like the friendliest dude in the gym. Like, it's cool with everyone.
Why wouldn't you Why wouldn't you want to be cool with people in the gym, man? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because it's like I love to help. Because it's funny because like it's such a vivid memory in my head, like of when I met my boy. You probably know Christian Fator. Christian, you met? I don't know.
Yeah.
So because I used to train like a local gym, and then like I started training there, and like he was like he did national and shit like that, and he was like a decent younger bodybuilder and shit. And that was like the only bodybuilder I knew. And like I started working out with him, and I was like, holy fuck, like this is what training feels like. And then I remember that light bulb, and then obviously like I took it further and shit like that, and kept learning more and more about training. But then like I see young guys in the gym, and they're like, yo, can you help me push me through a set? I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. And like I'll help them through a set. And they're like, I've never done a set like that before in my life. And I was like, bro, I remember having that light bulb moment where I'm like, fuck, this is what training to failure feels like. It's like, damn. So I love to help people.
Dude, as a matter of facts, bro, Christian was actually like essentially my first like motivation for bodybuilding. Like, obviously, it was my dad. He was who got me into it because he was a bodybuilder his whole life. But like when I was getting into it, he wasn't like competing anymore because like he was older, you know. So Christian was like, especially at that time before bodybuilding was big like it is now, he was the only like bodybuilder in the general area. So I remember seeing him on like Instagram, and like him and my dad knew each other. And then I ended up his brother Cam. So he went to he was going to Neshaminy, and I did my first year and a half of high school at Neshaminy. And I remember he was a senior when I was a freshman. So I knew he was Christian's brother. So it was like I looked up to Christian because I was like, yo, this guy's a fucking freak, like a mad good bodybuilder. And then I seen his brother Cam. I'm like, damn, like because he was big in high school. I was like, I'm gonna be big like that as a senior. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. Like Christian's a mad good dude. I trained with him a few times.
That's what's so funny. That's like I remember having that light bulb moment in my life where so that's why like people always fuck with me at the gym because I am a nice person. I'm a social person. I love to talk. So it's like I love to like help. That's why like, I'll help anybody spot it. But I don't care. Like I'll be helping like random dudes like benching a plate. I'm like, dude, let's fucking get after, dude. Let's a plate on that.
Yo, I'll tell you like this:
like, if you guys feel so fulfilled, like help people like with the training, I feel like that's why I get a lot of fulfillment. And I get a lot of fulfillment just being a nice person. Like I get so much fulfillment of like because I know what I look like. I know like I got the beard. I look fucking up 300 pounds and shit like that. And like I'm in the gym loud, all pre-workout out with my boys. We're screaming, getting after it. So people still feel intimidated. Like I go to a bodybuilding gym, but still like there are some people in there that like, aren't like new into the gym. So I love to like take that stigma out of the way. Like don't like I'm an overly nice person. Like I want you to feel comfortable here. Like I want you to come up and approach me. Like I'll help you out whenever I can because it's like I just love the gym. Like that's where I get fulfillment from, and like I feel purpose of it's like making people feel comfortable, and I just love to like help people
I mean,
in
bro,
that
I
way.
remember being a kid, like being like first getting in the gym, being like 14, 15 years
Yeah,
old, and seeing my first like bodybuilder. Like
yeah,
I remember this, it was this one Egyptian dude that trained at my gym. It was like a Bally's Fitness.
mm-hmm.
Bro, he was like 280, like 300 pounds, like
Mm-hmm.
6 feet tall, jacked, bro. Like, you know, these Egyptians.
Is this the guy that was? Is this the guy that was going to Harvard?
Nah, he was going to Dolphin. You might have met him in Dolphin once.
You know,
His name was,
do you know who I'm talking
nah,
about?
that's a different guy. That's a different guy. That's a,
This is a different
nah, the
freak.
dude
Yeah,
you're talking about is a pro. Like yeah,
yeah, I
nah,
know.
I forget his name, but no, this was just a guy that was just like in the gym. Like he was just jacked, like a fucking
It's huge.
creature.
Yeah,
I remember being like 14, 15 years old and just like staring at this
Yeah,
guy. It's like, what the fuck? And I remember like finally the one day like I worked up like the fucking nuts to go and like talk
yeah,
to him. Cause I'm like, bro, I'm like
yeah,
a kid, you know? And he ended up being the nicest fucking dude
yeah,
ever. Like
yeah,
literally.
exactly.
yeah. I mean, dude, that's always
Yeah,
how it goes, bro. Like, it's always the biggest, most intimidating dudes that are the nicest. It's funny because, like, when I was younger, when I was a teenager and shit, everyone would always tell me like how fucking
yeah,
terrified they are of like my
yeah,
dad and shit. Like people in the gym or like people that I went to school with and whatever. And then like they would have an interaction with him at the gym or something, and they'd be
yeah,
coming up to me like, "Yo, like I didn't like your
yeah,
dad's so cool. Like he told me how to do this and that." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude. Like, because we guys like us, we look
yeah,
intimidating to most
mm,
people, you know. But it's nice to put that idea across that like, yo, you can
yeah,
approach guys like
yeah,
us in the gym because a lot of times that's how
yeah,
people
exactly.
learn,
Yeah,
dude. Like a lot of, I
'cause I've
think
been there. That's the thing.
I'll
I
tell you
know.
like
I've
this
been there. I
because
learned. That's where I learned from
Well,
Christian. So
yeah.
I remember that.
yeah, well, bro, the biggest thing is like
Yeah.
how do most people learn, bro? Like how do most people learn how to train? By like getting advice from the bigger
Yeah,
guys in the gym. But because of the fact that everyone's so
yeah,
intimidated, like they don't
mm,
get that. Whereas like my dad will talk about this all the time. Like the gym back in the day, like, you know,
yeah,
80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, it was a much different thing. Like, you would, like, bro, if you were like a little dude that went into the gym, like a skinny guy, like younger, like teenager, whatever, dudes would come right up to you and just start telling,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
offering you help, telling you how to do
yeah,
shit,
Yeah.
you know? But it's like people on the flip side though, people also wanted
yeah,
the help. You have a lot of people in the gym now, like these younger kids or these people that like the ego gets in the
yeah,
way. It's like you could be the biggest dude in the gym and go up and try and give certain dudes advice, and it's like they don't want it. They'll like tell you to get the
and
fuck away
and
from them. They
oh,
think
you're
they
on
know it
gear. You're
all.
on steroids. That's why you're. That's,
Oh
okay.
yeah, like they'll just
But bro, because that's the
you
stigma.
know?
Well, because that's how it kind of shifted, it kind of turned into a thing of like a lot of guys like us, the bigger guys that want to help people,
Yeah,
don't go out of our way
yeah,
to do it because the majority of the people
yeah,
don't
exactly.
appreciate it. They look at it as like they don't
Yeah,
need you or whatever. So it's like then it becomes a thing of like the people that do want the help that are
yeah,
too intimidated to approach guys like us, it never
exactly.
happens
Yeah.
at all,
Now
you
they're
know? And that's
yeah,
I mean,
unfortunate.
there's also just a massive issue with an overload of information, man. Like
yeah,
the amount of info out there, but nobody has the what's the word I'm looking for? The conviction to stick to one approach for
oh,
like
yeah.
fucking 6 months, a year. See if it really works. You know,
That's
like,
because people always ask me too, like, they're like, what's your split? I'm like, bro, my split might not be for what you. I'm like, because your split's not gonna be for me. I'm like, I do what I like. I do. You could tell me this is the best split in the world, but if I don't like doing it, it's not gonna work for me because I'm not gonna do it. Like, I love my split. I love low volume. I love high intensity. I'm like, so that's what I go balls to the wall with. I'm like, but if you tell me to go in there and do 5 sets of 20 on 7 different exercises, and I'm going to build the most muscle humanly possible, I'm going to say no because I don't want to do that. I don't like doing 5 sets of 20. I like doing a top set of 6 and a back off set of 10 and maybe an intensifier. Like, that's how I like to train. That's what I do because that's what I like. So I'm
Well,
like, so
you know
what's
what
your
the
split that's going to
problem
work
is,
for you?
bro? The problem though is the fact that majority of the people in the gym right now, especially the younger crowd, why are they
Yeah.
even in the gym? Like, bro, most of these people don't actually love
Mhm.
to train. They're going to the gym and training
Yeah.
because of the fact that fitness
Yeah.
became a trend. and they understand that, like, for example, Sam Sulek has more followers than a lot of
Oh, yeah.
celebrities. And people watching this can go double check what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Or maybe not Sam Sulek, but
Oh,
Sebum has more followers than any bro. Sebum has more followers than any of your
yeah,
favorite rappers.
exactly.
In your own time, go and take a look at, because I checked
Yeah.
already. He's got more followers than Lil Wayne. So a lot of these kids, bro, they think because like it's a trend, you can become like
Yeah.
celebrity status from fitness now. Now it's a cool thing to be like a fitness influencer. So most of these people, bro, the real reason that they're in the gym isn't because they love to train. It isn't because they love to push themselves. It's because they want to be the next Sebum or Sam Sulek. But they don't want to do the things that Sebum or Sam Sulek do. They don't look at the work that Sebum or Sam Sulek did to get to the point they're at. So they think it's a thing of, I'll jump around and, whatever the best, most optimal split is to get me there overnight. And then it's going to be a thing of, well, I want this tomorrow. I want to have 1 million followers tomorrow. So I'm going to take a bunch of drugs to do it when I've only been in the gym for 6 months. That's not how the shit
No.
works. You know what I mean? So it's just this massive problem of too many people that don't actually love the concept of it. They just love
Yeah,
that
there's just
that result, and they're doing all these unhealthy
Yeah.
things to
I mean,
get there.
there's
It's a
just two
problem, you
camps. Like I
know.
was talking to this one young cat the other day, and like he was like asking me about a back workout or some shit, and he got like his information from Jeff Nippard, right?
Yeah. The science
So,
guys. Yeah.
I mean, bro, like he's like Jeff's a knowledgeable guy. He's not
Yeah.
fucking stupid,
For
but the
sure.
thing that he got from Jeff was like to do 4 feeder sets before his work set.
Mm.
So 4 warm up sets essentially
Yeah.
before the work set of 10 reps each.
Yeah. So you told me
So
to do that. I'm not gonna do it because I don't like doing that shit.
it
You know,
doesn't make any well to me. It doesn't make any fucking
Yeah.
sense because right
Yeah.
because like my thought process behind it, at least the way that I do it, is I'll do those 3 4 feeder sets. I mean, I call them fucking warm up sets.
Yeah.
This whole feeder set term is like
I never heard that before.
it's fucking it gets thrown around so much nowadays.
Yeah.
Like I keep hearing it, but I hear it in the context of like warm up set. I hear it in the context of like as a back off set.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's neither here nor there. But he's telling me this, and I'm explaining to him like the way that I would go about it is you start lighter,
Mm.
more reps, get a feel for it, get some blood, and then as you get closer to your work weight, like the set before your work weight, you're going to be doing like 3 reps maybe, right?
Yeah.
Because the whole idea is to warm up your CNS, not to fucking
Yeah.
get some kind of hypertrophy benefit out of that set. So I'm explaining this to him, and he was like, "Wow, that's so crazy!" Like Jeff explained it in like such a similar way, but like to him, like he just likes to do the 4 sets of 10 or whatever. And he literally said like the argument that I gave him of like I feel like that's a waste of fucking energy because
Yeah. Yeah.
why would you save it for the main lift, right?
Yeah.
So he was like, he said that, but Jeff's thing was like, but I like it, so that's why.
Yeah.
I do it. And
Yeah.
I love that, dude, because that's what this shit is about. Like,
Yeah. That's what
do
you like.
the thing that you enjoy, how to like do the thing
Exactly.
that you're actually enjoying. That's the thing that you're going to get the most results out of.
Exactly. That was my exact point. It's like the split that's going to work for you is whatever you like to do the best. It's like the only split that's going to work is the split you enjoy. It's like if you hate going in the gym, it's like, fuck, I do not feel like going there and do this. It's like, okay, you're not going to train as hard as me, who's like, I can't fucking wait to get in there and fucking do this workout. I love every fucking second of it. It's like you're in there. It's like, oh, I fucking hate. Like me, like I hate. Like I don't have an arm day because I don't like doing arms. I don't like. I know I don't like to. Like I don't enjoy going and having an arm day. So I do arms. Like before I'll do shoulders, I'll do fucking biceps or something like that. So it's I don't go in there. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, you're good.
Just
There goes again. I don't know what the hell's going on.
It's popped out.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all good.
Let's see if he comes back. But it's funny too. And also too, like the same thing, like with like the splits, that whole stuff like that. Like even if you would have told me, like my younger self, like Rye, go in the gym and do this, this, and this. It's like I from training for the past 15 years, I can get so much more out of. Can you hear me, Colton? Okay.
It is.
That's what's funny. It's like if you would have told me 10 years ago, Ryan, do this exercise with this weight, like I wouldn't have been able to get I don't get the same out of it because I connect so much more with the muscle now. So it's like I could tell you, yo, do a barbell row. Me doing a barbell row and me 10 years ago doing a barbell row is totally fucking different. I could have probably been doing more weight 10 years ago. And I could probably barbell row 4 plates 10 years ago, barbell plate 2 barbell row 2 plates now, and I'm getting so much more of it just because I learned how to move better and move. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you hear young guys like, "What's the best split?" or "What should I do for this?" It's like, bro, like just like have a passion for training and start learning how to fucking feel shit and like just enjoy it and train with intensity because it's like I can tell you to do a barbell row and you're not going to feel it at all in your fucking back because you just don't know how to train. Like, so you need
Exactly.
the reps, years and years of reps. Yeah,
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 yeah, we hear you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, popped out again.
I don't know why the fuck he keeps cutting out.
Fuck. That's all right. Fuck it. See if he comes back. I would say it's already we're already at 2.5 hours. I'll wrap it up in a minute anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, dude, like, but for sure, we were actually talking about that shit the other day, dude. Like
Yeah.
the just Paul Carter, like the whole reps and reserve thing and like
Go
all
back.
this. There he is.
There he is.
I mean,
There you go. That's all right. Yeah, I'll say all right. We'll wrap it up. We're at 2.5 hours anyway. Good conversation.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was
So all right, guys. Well, I'll just
a good fucking episode. Touched on
yeah,
a
that's
lot.
a good episode. All right, let me take a picture real quick, Colton. Let's see if I can get a pic of you there real quick. I'm gonna stop. Yeah, set that up. But yeah, I can see. Well, it's paused on your face right now, but
You're frozen.
yeah, yeah, you're good. I'll do a little wrap up. I'm gonna.
I would definitely love to do this again with you for
Oh
sure.
my god, yeah.